Don't ever get caught up in the motherfucking hype. We are all just people. Motherfuckers over there in the offices of the government are just regular people. They are not super geniuses. This is not a movie. Them motherfuckers brush their teeth and don't wash their ass properly. Just like hell of y'all. They just knew somebody and they pay attention and they follow directions. That's how this system works. People follow directions. They don't ask any questions, they just follow directions. Ask the questions. If you saw me get arrested, I asked all the questions. Watch me get paid. Watch me get paid. And watch y'all see that money come right back. Y'all held me down, I'm holding y'all down. 1000%. We are going balls to the fucking wall. The election is tomorrow or today or whenever the fuck they count these votes. I don't honestly even give a fuck. I'm not out here to be angry. I'm out here to create a change. Pay attention to the narrative that they're writing. They want us right now to blow this shit. They want us to give them a reason so when Trump loses, they can say we have to take control back. Be smart. We want to tear down the system. We don't just want to throw rocks at the windows. I'm not saying you can't throw rocks at the windows, but you understand what the fuck I'm saying. Do you want to burn this shit down, or do you want to knock the clock off the tower? Because there's a difference. There's a difference. Some of us are out here just chanting and running every night and chasing the next action, and some of us are out here playing chess. Like 3-directional chess. I'm sitting here wondering if I'm gonna catch a federal charge because I have charges in 2 states now. Are y'all paying attention? Y'all know the FBI is watching us and shit, right? You know my dad founded a masjid, right? Around the time of 9/11, right? You have to know people are fucking watching you. Pay the fuck attention. My whole life I've been paying attention. We've been waiting for this moment. But I told y'all earlier over at the kids shit that we were always told we never knew when this was gonna come, but when it come, who was gonna step up? They never.
Direction. Now, let's be clear. The state of Minnesota has not selected a Republican for president in about half a century. But this year, things are a little bit different. You can see this mural behind me here. You can see that's a picture of George Floyd. There are murals like this across the country. What happened here in May with the death of George Floyd really motivated and inspired people to become involved, particularly young people. And so we're seeing some of that here play out in this state, especially in the blue counties, in Ramsey County and Hennepin County. You see a lot of those young people coming out to vote. And I can tell you, in talking to some of those young people, George, they're not happy with either candidate. They don't like Biden and they don't like Trump, but they realize that they have only certain options in front of them right now at this point. Now, President Trump and his campaign really playing to the law and order message.
Can we make that horizontal?
Minnesota, you might remember back when those protests first happened here at the beginning of the summer after George Floyd was killed, a police station was burned down to the ground. Several blocks here in Minneapolis were reduced to rubble. And so that message of law and order, of defending police officers and what law enforcement stands for is really resonating with a lot of people here. But then you also have that other side of people who want to see change. We've talked to a lot of people, George, who say racial equality, racial justice, those are the most important things that are motivating them when they head to the polls, when they cast their ballots today.
Okay,
George?
Alex, thanks very much. Let's stay in the Midwest now. Let's take a look at Wisconsin. 10 electoral votes at play. Of course, Donald Trump won there by 22,000 votes last time around. Deborah Roberts is there in Wisconsin. And we saw those both. We've seen this COVID surge in Wisconsin over the last several weeks. Also, protests in Kenosha over the summer where the president hit hard on that law and order theme.
That's exactly right, George. So it's been sort of a complicated mix here in Wisconsin. But I have to tell you, if there's a state that's going to cause a little bit of heartburn tonight, it will be Wisconsin. And that is because of absentee and mail-in votes. Usually about 6% of the votes would actually be handled that way. This time, about 60% of the votes, George, were done early, absentee, mail-in. And that means about 2 million votes now have to be handled. And unlike Georgia, which got a chance to prep some of those votes a little bit early, Wisconsin had to wait until this morning, 7 a.m. So they just got started processing all of those votes this morning. The Election Commission folks tell us it's probably going to be a late evening, but that does not mean that there are going to be problems. They are going to be working very hard. And as you said, the big problem is COVID. I mean, this state is getting slammed by the coronavirus. Almost 6,000 new cases, 52 deaths today. It is a big problem, and it is an issue that has been hovering over this state. So for that reason, a lot of people are just sending their votes in. We saw a woman dropping her ballot off this afternoon. The polls just closed, so they're going to be processing those votes overnight. And in Milwaukee, for instance, there are poll watchers there. Each party got 15 people standing around watching all of those votes as they come in. But so far, so good. The weather has been good. 2 weeks ago, there was snow. Today, there was sunshine. So at the very least, things seem to be moving fairly smoothly here in Wisconsin, but it may be a long night. George?
Okay, Deborah Roberts, thanks very much. We're just hearing now that we can project the state of South Dakota for Donald Trump. Again, not a surprise right there. South Dakota will go to Donald Trump tonight. So seeing the red states are filling in red, the blue states are filling in blue. All the battlegrounds still in play. One of the biggest ones right now, Ohio, the state of Ohio, 55% of the vote in. Tom Young, it's getting a little closer now.
Yeah, a story is developing in Ohio. Let's take a closer look right now at this state. George, I looked at the map as it is right now, and we're still waiting for some areas to come in, including Akron and some of the suburbs outside of Cleveland. But looking at the map right now, the way it looks, it actually resembles more 2012 than it does 2016, and that's good news for Democrats right now. A lot of the swing counties that President Trump won 4 years ago, they have swung back for Joe Biden. One county that we're looking at right here, this is Delaware County, the suburbs outside of Columbus. This used to be a Republican bastion. You can see President Trump won it 4 years ago. Look at these numbers now, and we have 75% of the vote in. Joe Biden's doing really, really well. He's up, do the math here, 40. He's up 13% just in Delaware County. One thing I do want to note, and we've talked about this earlier, about whether it's a red or blue mirage. When we look at the early vote, Democrats are doing very well in Ohio with the early vote. Joe Biden on top 60% to 40%, so 20 points right there. But from the momentum and from the blue counties, from the big cities, Joe Biden is winning where he needs to be.
Okay, Tom, thanks very much. Cecilia Vega, as we've said, Ohio, a must-win for the president.
A must-win for the president, George, and our team is in touch with sources close to the president. And I got to tell you, we are hearing that the Trump campaign is becoming increasingly worried right now about what they are seeing in that state. They are working here in the White House in these war rooms where they are watching these returns come in, and they are becoming increasingly nervous about what they're seeing out of Ohio. One senior source telling our team it's much closer than it should be. They're kicking themselves, frankly, for not having gone there more. The Trump team did not hold any rallies in Ohio over 2020 compared to holding 5 in Pennsylvania just this past weekend alone. They had to cut ad spending there in the final weeks because of this cash crunch that they've been facing in the campaign, foregoing millions of dollars in ads. And George, you'll remember this. It's a minor incident, really, in the grand scheme of the things we cover here in this White House, but worth pointing out on a night like tonight. Remember this controversy from just a few months ago where President Trump called for a ban on Goodyear, on the brand Goodyear, after he accused the company of banning its employees from wearing his MAGA gear. Goodyear is based in Akron, Ohio, George.
As is LeBron James, and he's been quite active in this campaign as well. Mary Bruce, I mean, we saw that Joe Biden at the last minute went from Pennsylvania, jumped into Ohio on the final day, hoping to make a play for this state.
Yeah, they believed that what they were seeing on the ground showed that this state was in play, that it was increasingly competitive, and that appears to be reflected in these numbers that we are seeing so far tonight. Biden's team is encouraged, very much so, by what they are seeing coming out so far. And I want to hit on a point that Tom was making about suburban women, because in these preliminary exit data, suburban women backed Trump by 9 points in 2016. But tonight, in this preliminary data, suburban women are narrowly backing Biden. That bodes well for Biden's team, not just in states like Ohio, but also as you look to those other critical Midwestern states like Michigan and Wisconsin, possibly even in Pennsylvania, as they try to rebuild that blue wall that Donald Trump smashed through 4 years ago. And it also speaks, George, to the power of women voters who tonight could determine the outcome of this election. They were critical to delivering Donald Trump the White House. Women voters tonight could be critical to taking it back.
Martha Raddatz, you spoke to a lot of them on the road this summer.
I spoke to a lot of them, and I can tell right now that there are a group of women I spoke to around those counties, around Columbus, Ohio, that Tom Yamas was talking about, who are very happy tonight. A group of women, several of them were Republicans, and they switched to Joe Biden. It was right on that character issue once again, character, chaos. Juju Chang talked about that as well. That's what those women were concentrating on. And let me channel the late Cokie Roberts here for a minute, George. This is the centennial of the 19th Amendment. Women have only had the vote in this country for 100 years, and as Mary said, they may determine that tonight. But you also want to listen to what Donald Trump has been saying to women, especially suburban women, which doesn't land very well with many of them. I'm also getting your husbands back to work. They want to get back to work, right? You know how many women are in the workforce. In 2019, 76 million women aged 16 and over were employed. George.
Martha Raddatz, you channeled Cokie well. We miss her tonight. David Muir, what do the experts say about Ohio right now?
Well, it's really fascinating about Ohio. I wonder if we're going to come back to what Heidi Heitkamp said earlier with President Trump sort of talking down the mail-in vote across this country in the weeks preceding the election, that perhaps this is what we're seeing unfolding in Ohio tonight, because the exit polling tells a different story. A lot of the issues that Joe Biden sort of laid out, he said, we got to take care of the virus first. The economy will come with it second. The Ohio exit polls show that they believe fix the economy, open the country first before the coronavirus. They prefer Trump to Biden handling the economy. They prefer Trump to Biden handling the pandemic. So given what we're seeing in the exit polls, and again, one of the other trends that we're also seeing is Donald Trump is not underwater with approval in Ohio. It's one of his strongest showings tonight in the preliminary exit polls so far. So this would show portends a good night for President Trump in Ohio. I do wonder if the get out the vote and the early voting campaign by the Biden camp, the push for an early vote, is actually helping them there significantly tonight.
A lot of vote yet to come in the state of Ohio, 51-47 right now. Nate, let's take a look back at your forecast and show everybody what happens if Ohio goes from red to blue if Joe Biden happens to win.
So what I have here is if Trump wins Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, in which case it's a more competitive race, but Biden counters by winning Ohio, then that all of a sudden undoes those positive results for Trump. You'll see the numbers come up here. Biden's going to, I think, wind up here north of 99%, because if Trump loses Ohio, he's going to lose in all probability Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Minnesota, which are bluer states, and that makes for a losing map for him, most likely.
And it really does show the importance right now, because you came into the night showing Donald Trump with about a 10% chance. So even if you give him those three key states we've been looking at in the Southeast right now, Georgia, North Carolina, and Florida, you flip Ohio and it turns everything around.
Right. So he has to win both paths, right? He has to win the southern path and hold the states that he flipped from Clinton in 2016 in the north. If he only does one, then it'll be close. It will not be a Biden landslide, but Biden would still be elected president.
It is so close right now. Nate Silver, thanks very much. We have to take another quick break. on 920 in the East. That's what it looks like right now in the key state of Florida. 93% of the expected vote in, and Donald Trump has opened up about a 300,000 vote lead over Joe Biden. I want to go to Senator Rick Scott, Republican of Florida. You think this one is over in Florida?
Well, I predicted all along that Donald Trump was going to win Florida. He's right on the issues, and he's done an unbelievable job with the Hispanic vote. You can look at those Miami-Dade numbers and see how the state completely changed. This race completely changed when, Donald Trump put all that effort into dealing with the Castro regime, the Maduro regime, and it paid off with the Hispanic vote in our state. I won the Hispanic vote, and look, in the end, it's going to look like Trump did a really great job with the Hispanic vote. Well,
he was able to pull away by even more than you did in 2018, correct, so far?
Oh, absolutely. I've had very close races. But look, in Florida, we don't like high taxes, and Joe Biden's talked about the biggest tax increase in the history of the country. That doesn't go well. We like our law enforcement. We're at a 49-year low under crime rate. The Democrats defunding the police didn't help Joe Biden. The economy is really important to Floridians, and Donald Trump is in a better position on that. And again, just doing what Donald Trump has done against the Castro regime and Maduro is just the opposite of what Obama and Biden did. So it's helping Trump a whole bunch in this state. I thought he'd have a big win. I put up an ad for him to get the vote out. They got the vote out today to make sure he's going to have a big win.
Senator Scott, thanks very much for your time. We can now project that Joe Biden is going to win the state of Colorado, and it's 9 electoral votes. Matt Gutman is there in Denver, Colorado. Matt, what do you make of it?
Hey, George, not a very big surprise here. Democratic candidates have won the past 3 elections here in Colorado. In the Senate, it's been 4 of 5, and not very unusual. This is something that has been forecast in the polls all along. I want to give you a sense of where we are. This is the polling station here in Denver, and what you're looking at looks like watching the paint dry. It looks boring, but all of these people are working within this system to count the ballots. It's incredible, the tenderness with which they are caring for each ballot. A lot of talk tonight about whether or not the elections are rigged, whether or not there has been fraud. I can give you a sense that here it is working like a well-oiled machine. George.
They know how to count votes by mail in Colorado. I've done it for a long time. Matt, thanks very much. 9 states for Joe Biden, 7 for Donald Trump, 89-51 in the Electoral College. We'll be right back.
Live from ABC News election headquarters in New York City, here again, George Stephanopoulos.
9:30 now in the East, and we can project 2 more states now for President Trump. Donald Trump will win the state of Alabama. He will put 10% of the vote in. Of course, that is a strong Republican state. Big Senate race there as well. Republicans hoping to pick up a Senate seat there. Tommy Tuberville over Doug Jones. We don't have a projection on that yet, but we can say that Donald Trump will also win the state of North Dakota tonight. So he's picked up 2 more states there for the president. We see 89 electoral votes for Joe Biden, 63 for Donald Trump right now. And right now, let's pull up the state of Virginia. Take a look at what we're seeing now in the state of Virginia. 41% of the expected vote in. Right now, Tom Yamas, we're still seeing Donald Trump with a large lead, but only 41% of the expected vote in.
Yeah, George, it's a little strange. This is kind of interesting right now in Virginia. As you know, Democrats have been winning this state. Let's blow it up here. A lot of these red counties, the rural counties, as you go further west, you're going to get into coal country. But I want to blow this up here. This is the Democratic suburbs around D.C., this area right here. You have Alexandria, Fairfax, Arlington. These are areas where Democrats need to run up the score, and that's how they end up winning the state. Places like Fairfax, it's actually pretty close when you look at 4 years ago. Joe Biden's underperforming, and that's why I say the numbers are a little strange right now in Virginia. Prince William County, here's another thing. It's neck and neck. This was a county that Clinton clearly won 4 years ago. So it's sort of interesting when we look. I was trying to see if this was part of the early vote. Maybe Republicans came out to vote early there. Unfortunately, right now, all we have is that 57% of the vote is going to be early vote. We don't see who's on top right now, George.
Okay, Tom Yamas, thanks very much. Let's bring in Senator Tim Kaine. Tim, we were just hearing from Tom Yamas, so it shows we don't have a lot of the vote in. I take it you're feeling a bit more confident about your state?
Yeah, George, the AP called Virginia at 736 because of the early vote totals are so strongly Democratic. About 70% of the 2016 total got cast early, and we know who those voters are. Just by way of comparison, the AP called Virginia at 11 o'clock in 2008, at 1 a.m. in 2012, and at 10:30 in 2016. So calling Virginia 3 hours earlier suggests very, very strong night in Virginia. Mark Warner's won big. We feel good about our congressional races. And because Virginia is now heavily suburban, we think that also probably bodes well for suburbs in places like North Carolina, Georgia, Philly, Pennsylvania, Ohio, and the upper Midwest. So we feel really good in Virginia. We hope it sends a message and is an indicator elsewhere.
Of course, you were part of the Hillary Clinton campaign 4 years ago. What feels different to you this time around?
I mean, the tremendous surge of early vote. I mean, that shows not only people taking and, trying to protect themselves from COVID, but it also shows intense energy. And George, as you know, we know who the early voters are. We don't know how they voted, but if a Tim Kaine votes early, we can see, well, Tim Kaine has only voted ever in Democratic primaries. That's a Democratic vote. And we're seeing this really strong early vote in many states that gets often reported a little bit later, even if it comes in early. Early vote is strong. The early vote is disproportionately young people compared to 4 years ago. And then states that are battlegrounds that never have been, Georgia, Arizona, Texas, for God's sake. We are competitive in states where it's very, very tough.
So you're feeling good about the whole night, not just your state?
Yes, absolutely.
Senator Kaine, thanks very much for your time tonight. We can project now the state of South Carolina is going to go to Donald Trump. South Carolina, strong red state. Donald Trump won it 4 years ago. He is going to win it again tonight. Janae Norman is in South Carolina.
Yeah, hey, George, we expected this. This is a state that hasn't voted for a Democrat for president since 1976. President Trump's support has remained steady, and exit polls showing that the president approval rating is about 55%. But one thing that we're watching big here is, of course, the Senate race here. It is a fierce battle, and Republicans are on defense. Few places is that more true than here in South Carolina. Think about this. Lindsey Graham, he is a household name, a 17-year incumbent incumbent in a Republican stronghold. He was expected to easily win re-election a few months ago, but now he is in the fight of his political life. He has been on TV, forced to essentially beg for donations to try to beat Jamie Harrison. Jamie Harrison at one point raised more than $57 million in just over 3 months. He is one of those candidates that Democrats are hoping can help them flip some red seats blue. So that is what we're watching tonight here, George.
Okay, Janae, thanks very much. We can't project that yet, but you just heard that chime. That means we can project that in Colorado, the Senate race in Colorado, former Governor John Hickenlooper is going to defeat Cory Gardner, the incumbent Republican senator. So that is a pickup for the Democrats tonight in the Senate. John Hickenlooper has defeated Cory Gardner, John Karl. Magic numbers in the Senate: 3 if Biden wins for the Democrats, 4 if he doesn't.
Yeah, and this was probably their top target to pick up. Cory Gardner tied himself quite closely to Donald Trump, actually tried to avoid comment whenever there was anything controversial. Hickenlooper, the former governor, of course, briefly ran for president, recruited to run for this seat. No surprise that this is the first pickup. They've got to pick up a few more.
Matt Gutman?
Just adding to what John was saying, Hickenlooper, two-time mayor, two-time governor of the state, beloved. He ran for president briefly, then decided to run for Senate. This is not a surprise, but as Janae was saying, this is a key state that the Democrats wanted to pick up to turn from red to blue. And frankly, this is a purple state that is leaning blue, George. And Cory Gardner didn't have much of a chance. He voted towards the GOP in the Senate 89% of the time in a state that we were saying is purple leaning blue. It was unlikely that he was going to win this. The polls had favored Hickenlooper all along, but this is one state, possibly another in the Rocky Mountain region, Montana, that could flip from red to blue tonight. George.
Matt Gutman, thanks very much. Mary Bruce, your day job is covering Capitol Hill, and I wanted you to pick up on what John Karl was just talking about there. Cory Gardner, one of those senators who, whenever President Trump got in a little bit of trouble, he disappeared.
Yeah, it was amazing how all of a sudden Cory Gardner would become very hard to find in the halls of the Capitol in those moments. Look, as John was saying, he was viewed as the most vulnerable Republican tonight. There are several others that Democrats are keeping a close eye on. And I have to say, George, Republicans know that there is a very real risk that they could lose their Senate majority tonight. In addition to Colorado, which we now know the result in, they're keeping a very close eye on Arizona. They feel very strongly, Democrats do, that they have a chance to defeat Martha McSally in that race. They're also feeling optimistic about possibly Iowa, Maine, and North Carolina. The Senate race in Georgia is now looming as a very real possibility, with actually 2 races there tonight, and both Republican senators at risk there. Democrats can see that they are likely to lose a seat in Alabama, Doug Jones's seat. That means if you go back to the math here, if they lose that seat, they would then need to pick up 4 seats. Democrats would if Joe Biden wins, because in that instance, Kamala Harris would then become the tiebreaker as vice president. If Donald Trump wins, that means the Democrats would then have to pick up 5 seats if they do lose that race in Alabama.
Mary Bruce, thanks very much. Let's take a deeper dive now at the state of Pennsylvania. We've been calling that the most critical battleground of the night tonight. 19% of the expected vote is in right now. Joe Biden has a large lead. And Tom, why don't you try to run through some of the key counties in Pennsylvania that we're going to be watching tonight?
You know, George, we were just looking at Pennsylvania a little closely, and the numbers are really all over the place. There's not really a narrative we can really talk about at this point. Look, for instance, I'll give you Scranton right here. Lackawanna, Donald Trump is on top in Joe Biden's hometown, and he's overperforming there for Republicans. We go just south, Lucerne County. This is Wilkes-Barre. This is a swing county that Donald Trump won 4 years ago. Tonight, Joe Biden's on top, but again, only 29% of the vote in. On the big cities where Democrats really have to win, Allegheny, Pittsburgh, you can see how high Joe Biden's there. That's the type of number Democrats want to make sure they can hold in Pennsylvania, not only in Pittsburgh, but also in Philadelphia. Let me open this up a little more as we get to Philadelphia and the suburbs. George, look, I don't want people to have a freak out here. 93%, that's obviously incredible, but there's only 9% of the vote in at this moment. Let me squeeze this down a little bit. We'll look at one of the suburb counties, the exurb counties around Philadelphia, where Democrats have to run up the score. Look, Joe Biden's doing good, but again, George, it's so early. There's nothing really to pull from.
Do we have anything from Erie County? And then I want to bring John in.
Yeah, Erie County, we have Donald Trump, barely won this. Just by a percentage point 4 years ago, but it was one of those swing counties that Obama won. And you can see right now, I mean, John, it's neck and neck, but 4% in. 4% in.
But I've got to say, if you go back to the Philly suburbs, Montgomery County, Delaware County, you see Biden with nearly an 80-point lead. It's 16% of the vote in. What's really important here, though, George, is, as I understand it, almost all of the vote that has been counted are people that voted today on Election Day. You know, Pennsylvania didn't start counting
in those collar counties of Philadelphia.
Yes. This is day of voting, so they still have to count all of the mail-in vote. They didn't start opening the envelopes until today. That's going to take a long time. It's actually going to take several days. That mail-in vote is expected to really lean heavily towards Joe Biden. So I think it's interesting. It's still a small amount, no doubt, but I think that it's interesting already in the suburbs of Philadelphia.
Those used to be swing areas. Now they're trending deep blue.
I mean, early indication, again, 17% of the expected vote in, but it's day of vote.
We have some exit polls for Pennsylvania.
Yeah, you know, Pennsylvania, when you compare it to Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania actually in the exit polls showed Donald Trump's worst performance so far tonight when it comes to his approval rating. Let's dive in here and see what the exit polls show us. Again, these are preliminary, but the exit polls, as we mentioned earlier in the night, do reflect both, as John Carl was mentioning, people who voted today and those who were voting early in person. As you can see, let's try to refresh that and see if the job performance comes up. 52% disapproving of Donald Trump and his performance. Whether or not to contain the pandemic first or rebuild the economy, you can see overwhelmingly they say we've got to take care of this coronavirus in the U.S. And they say that Joe Biden is the best to handle that. When you look at the economy, Donald Trump and Joe Biden neck and neck in Pennsylvania. The most important issue in Pennsylvania, the economy, pandemic, they're behind. It's interesting. Let's look at independents in Pennsylvania. Joe Biden owning independents so far as the exit polls are concerned in Pennsylvania.
Chris Christie, neighboring state of yours in New Jersey, always going to be an uphill battle for the president, but essential.
Listen, vital, has to have it. And I do think, though, that the things that we're seeing still, I think this is very early, but there's underperformance in Philadelphia, even though those numbers don't indicate it. That's what I continue to hear. And so I think they're still feeling like they can turn out their day of vote in a way that's going to make it very close. No one's predicting a win there yet that I've heard, but no one's bemoaning a loss yet either.
Rahm Emanuel, the Biden campaign probably spent more time, energy, money, focus on Pennsylvania than any other state.
There's no doubt about it. And the vice president, did you remember in your town hall when a guy stood up and was, oh, I know you, you're a sheriff. I mean, he's got to feel like a precinct captain or a county exec. They look at these numbers, and I would say there's a regional thing that's starting to happen. You look at the Ohio number, you look at Pennsylvania numbers, they're early, but there are trend lines where Joe Biden is outperforming in the suburbs. He's outperforming among working class, and he's also outperforming in the rural areas, even though you don't count it. Just minimizing the losses is doing well. So he is doing really in those areas well. The vote total, in the sense of how many people show up in the suburbs versus working industrial areas versus urban, is going to be what's really interesting. Because I think the urban areas may not be performing to the kind of baseline of what people were expecting.
Yvette, are you seeing that across the country right now? The urban area is not performing as well.
That's not what we're seeing, and that's what I want to make sure I reserve comment until we see that. We're seeing a lot of, particularly in Ohio, Hamilton County, Cuyahoga County, Franklin County, huge turnout there. I mean, we're running not just on the presidential, but down ticket. We're winning all these races down ticket as well, and so I think we'll just have to wait and see. Some of those places, like Cuyahoga, for instance, people were still in line up until about a half an hour ago.
Those are
in
the
Cuyahoga County.
For tonight. Wait and see. And we're going to be doing that with every state all night long. Sarah Fagan, the Trump campaign was hoping after that last debate where they thought that Joe Biden made a blunder by talking about ending fossil fuels and the issue of fracking. They thought that could give them headway in western Pennsylvania and coal country in these final 2 weeks.
Yeah, and I think it probably will give him some headway. Whether he wins it or not, we'll see. I think Pennsylvania, to me, is the best case of the mirage, the red and blue mirage. We don't know whether these are early votes, whether these are absentee votes, whether they're day of votes yet. And so, I would go back to something Nate Silver said, has been repeating over and over tonight. Wait till an entire jurisdiction is in before you get too excited.
I think we have to do that. There's no question about that. Eva Pilgrim, you spent a lot of time with suburban women in the state of Pennsylvania.
That's right, George. And specifically with moms, a lot of them telling me they usually avoid talking about politics amongst their mom groups. But this year, that just wasn't possible because so many of the things that are very political right now directly impact them and their children. In their text chains, you can see what some of those things are. They're talking about masking their children. They're talking about virtual learning. Are you sending your kid back to school? Should we go on vacation this summer? Those were all the discussions that they were having. And a lot of these moms telling me that, previously in other elections, they weren't really that plugged in. They've maybe voted in a presidential election prior, but this year they thought it was very important to vote. George?
Eva Pilgrim, thanks very much. Let's go to Nate Silver before we go to break. Nate, let's take one more look at your magical I shouldn't call it magical, your very scientific forecast there. And what happens if Pennsylvania flips this year, went to Donald Trump 4 years ago, goes to Joe Biden this time around?
So again, I'm going to make things a bit more suspenseful. Give Donald Trump Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, but then if you give Biden Pennsylvania, it's going to show us the numbers going up. We'll see where it calculates here in a second. It's not quite the same as Ohio because it's a little bit of a more purple state. But you see Biden's up to 91% despite losing the South. If he wins back Pennsylvania, they'd have to hold in Wisconsin and Michigan.
That's really interesting. It kind of brings you back to where you were at the beginning of the night.
It narrows the range, right? If Biden wins Pennsylvania, things are not going to fall apart from in the Midwest. He's also not going to have any type of landslide victory. But it would bring the probability back. It would mean that you have a close election where Biden is favored, but it's this kind of wide range of possible outcomes.
Chris?
Just heard from Republican leadership in Ohio that Trump has now pulled ahead in Ohio and that they believe Trump will win between 1.5 and 2 points.
Right now, what we're seeing on our board right now is 64% of the expected vote in. Joe Biden just ahead by a little bit, but you're saying you're getting that from your sources right now inside Ohio. They're looking at the vote that they're still waiting on, and they believe, at least, we're not ready to say that, they believe that Donald Trump will win the state of Ohio. Have to take another quick break. We'll be right back.
What's up, man? That doesn't look good.
Robinson, you don't need those, man. Robinson, you don't need those. They already know it's coming.
Helicopter's coming. Oh God, and it begins. Oh, some of you guys are cheating.
You'll be all right.
So I just joined up over here and this gentleman's being detained. You guys are cheating on the stream, I see, huh? Ah.
So terrifying. Yeah. Like, just. You want to get a photo of us? We really appreciate it. Thanks, yeah, no problem. I got you. You'd be the best. Yeah. Oh, you want one of you guys? Oh, okay. Okay, I just didn't want a picture of me. I didn't know, guys. All right, you guys ready? 1, 2, and 3. That just smells of democracy. I love it. Yeah, you guys, well done. You got it. No problem. I'm here for you. Anytime someone hands me a camera, you already know I'm gonna do a selfie. I can't. So talk to me real quick, guys. We'll bring you guys out. Say what's up.
We gotta take it in. We gotta take it in. It's
okay.
Hype.
Where y'all from?
Canada.
Canada. What part?
Toronto. Ottawa.
Ottawa and Toronto.
Yeah, we're just here to see the sights. Take this in. Take
Okay.
in the democracy. Yeah.
Tell me Canada's take on American politics.
We're just waiting to see.
You guys want to stand closer together? I'm getting dizzy going back and forth. What are your names? What are your names?
We just want to see how it all unfolds and like how the people react and just how the atmosphere goes. Like it's America's like the biggest.
Americans showed up early as well, and they voted there in Texas. Look, a lot of red counties. Texas has been Republican for a very long time. Jimmy Carter was the last Democrat to win this state. Some things that are good for Democrats are around the Dallas County suburb areas, and we'll show you why. So Fort Worth, which is usually a Republican stronghold, let me clear this out here. Tarrant County, 49%. It's neck and neck. President Trump won this by almost 10 points 4 years ago. We go a little bit higher here to Denton County. It's the same story. President Trump underperforming there. But here's something that's interesting. In Houston, Harris County, the biggest county so far, it's essentially the same race as it was 4 years ago. Harris County, Houston, is an area where the Democrats have to run up the score even more if they have any chance of winning in Texas. Because you go to one of these red counties, George, look at that. In East Texas, it's 3-1, and it's like that all across East Texas.
Matt Dowd is in Texas. Matt, it looks like John Cornyn is going to be returned as a Republican senator from Texas. But in the final days of his campaign, he started to break a little bit, uncharacteristically, from President Trump.
Well, I think he saw the numbers in Texas and the changing nature. He's catching up to the changing nature of the state of Texas, which, as we've talked about earlier, has gone from a solid red state to now, I think, a slightly red state. I think in the end, Biden's going to get really close in this state as I look at the numbers, very close, closer than any presidential candidate in 40 some odd years. But I don't think he's going to have enough. It's those last 2 or 3 points that are really hard, but he'll get really close. The other thing I'm going to say is what's played out in Florida is not playing out in Texas. So I think I'd counsel everybody to not interpret one place as meaning it's going to affect another place. The Hispanic vote here went really well for Joe Biden, much better than Donald Trump did here last time among the Hispanic vote. So I just counsel everybody that one state, Florida, may be about Florida, but it may not necessarily be about others.
What are we seeing? Thank you, Matt, in the exit polls in Texas, David?
You know, similar to what Matt Dowd was saying, you know, some pretty decent exit polls for the president, though, who's looking at this, 55% approve. But to Matt's point on the Latino vote, which is significant, 59% went for Joe Biden, though I'll point out that Hillary Clinton had 61% 4 years ago. So Joe Biden still has some room to grow there if he's going to match her numbers.
Okay, coming up on 10 p.m. in the East, polls are going to close in 4 more states. We'll be right back.
This is an ABC News special. America is voting in record numbers. So who will be your next president?
I'm the candidate of police officers, the middle class, law-abiding, hard-working American patriots, and others.
There will be no blue states or red states, just the United States. I'll work as hard for those who vote against me as those who voted for me, because that's what a president's supposed to do.
Live from New York City and across the country, Election Night 2020. Now reporting, Chief Anchor George Stephanopoulos.
Coming up on 10 p.m. in the East, and we have a long way to go on this Election Night 2020. That's where things stand right now. Joe Biden has won 9 states, 89 electoral votes. Donald Trump has won 10 states, 72 electoral votes, but all of the big battlegrounds are still out there right now. The polls have still just closed in 4 additional states. Let's take a look at that right now. State of Iowa, key state in the middle of the country, 6 electoral votes, key Senate race there as well. We cannot project a winner right there, but Kana Whitworth is on the ground for us in Iowa tonight, where she's focused on the rural vote. Kana.
Yeah, hey, George. So 75% of rural voters cast their ballot for Donald Trump in 2016. That was certainly the case here in Iowa. And this is a place where they are focused on the economy and job security. And 1 in 5 of those jobs.
I tried. Fighting the police. I tried. He's right. Fighting the police is not going to do it. It's the people behind the police. If you want to kill each other, go ahead. It's the people behind the police. It's the people behind the police. It's the judges. It's the whole system. It's the judges. It's the attorneys. The police are just the guard dogs.
Police put people in prison. Prison is slavery. It's in the Constitution. Get that shit out of here, bro.
I've been fighting it for a decade. I've been fighting American justice for a decade. It's a whole system that doesn't matter. Who's the president? It matters. Who's willing to take ask for fight? I'm going to ask for my own people. Tell them to calm down. Don't kill each other. Fighting the police will not solve it. He's right. Fighting police, you don't fight the power, use the power. That's the whole point. Not everybody. Go ahead.
Don't touch me.
And love.
Fucking shot. This is my fucking story too. This is my fucking people. If you ever put your fucking hands on me, I will put that fucking camera through you. What the fuck is wrong with you? Don't you ever put your hands on me to get a fucking shot. Fuck that fucking hand. My dad is fucking black. Okay? My grandma is fucking black. No fucking shot. And I'm not black. Bitch, I will
The military has to be involved. The military has to be involved. The whole system.
I'm fucking as black, okay?
Fighting. We have to go after the people behind the police. We have to go after the judges, people like Trump, the 1%, the czars. They're the slavers. They're the evil people. I've been fighting it for a decade. Nothing will change until the military intervenes. Until warriors intervene. The military has to intervene.
Coming soon. Relax.
If you believe in Jesus Christ, you have to act.
People keep telling me I'm about to go to heaven, man. What do they know that I don't know?
You can't be passive against this. I've been fighting racism, American justice for a decade.
Yeah.
I was right there.
That was
There is
messed
no
up,
justice
man.
in American justice.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Wow, I was like,
The military has to intervene.
Hey, thank you, bro. You too.
Beginning to fight the power. The military has to intervene. I've been fighting American justice for a decade. There is no justice. I have 10,000 pages of proof from Leadville, Colorado, the highest city in this country. 10,000 pages of proof to the fucking Supreme Court. They've destroyed everything. Blatant racism. Cops who rape people in uniform. Police chiefs who rape people in uniform. Michael Leake, the Leadville.
What's up, Protest Party TV? Hey, we
US.
getting here for lit. We're watching the motherfucking election just like you guys are. And I have a very special guest joining me, Miss Allie Noel. Everybody make some noise for Allie. If you're sitting on the couch, clap for Allie.
Hello, hello.
So let's get right into it, Allie. We're already late. They've been waiting on us. We got a couple of viewers already in the chat.
Woo woo.
How's it looking right now for our man Biden? I'm sure you're with Biden, right? No? Yay, nay?
Yeah. Of course.
No, I didn't know. I didn't know if you were one of the wild card Kanye voters.
No,
I didn't know how you.
No, I'm not gonna waste a vote. No, I'm not gonna do that. I mean, even though
Kanye's a waste.
Huh?
Kanye's a waste these days.
I'm not. Look, not everybody's gonna vote for him. So I'm just, let's just keep it to the two, okay? Like, I just if you live in a swing state, please don't vote for Kanye, please. Like, it's just like if everyone's gonna vote for Kanye, everyone needs to vote for him. Like, it's just he didn't really do that big of a campaign trail either. He campaigned for what, a week?
He went to states that already were chosen. It was just like, yo, we already picked our guy. Why are you here?
Exactly. So, I don't know how I feel about that too much. I mean, I voted for Biden and Kamala. They're the better choice. So we're just gonna roll with
As
that.
a duo. Okay.
As a duo.
How did you feel? How did you feel? Did you go and vote in person or did you mail in?
I mailed in. I didn't do in person. So.
Oh, okay.
I walked it in there to the thing. I mean, so it was kind of in person because it wasn't a mailbox that I dropped it off at. Like, I had to go to the school up the street and walk it in there. And there were so many volunteers and they were so enthusiastic. And there was this like 18-year-old kid and he was like, yeah, I'm out here and we gotta be out here. And we can't stand for this. And I've got to make a change with my voice, even if it's just one person. I've got to make a change, and honestly, because we're a blue state, I mean, I do know some people who are Trump supporters. I lost a couple friends when I realized they were, because you can be like, honestly, you have your opinion, you have your views, but if you're a conspiracist Trump supporter, we're not friends. If you're telling me about these fucking death pods and the fucking how Kamala and Joe are trying to decapitate us through the hospitals and shit, and talking about
it sounds like an Alex Jones interview. How many YouTube videos have you watched, Alex?
I'm just like, I can't. I'm like, if you're over here telling me about that, like the death pods in Hawaii, I'm like, bitch, get off my phone. Like,
so
no.
Are these young voters that are talking like this, or are these older voters?
These are voters in their late 20s. Some that are 30. I mean,
Now,
one person did have some like points, but not enough to sway me.
Okay. I know you just mentioned that all the volunteers were around 18 years old. I know that's just a couple years away. You're just a couple years older than that. When you were 18, did you know who you wanted to vote for? Did you know anything about politics when you were that age?
I mean, you kind of just shaved some years off for me. So, how do I want to answer this? Yes. Like, when I was 18, I was able to vote for Obama, his second term. But yeah, I knew who I wanted to vote for and I knew why I wanted to vote for him. I mean, when I was like in elementary school, I knew I wanted Al Gore. I was like, we don't want Bush. Shit. We don't want it. And he got it, but I'll take Bush any day over this. This is some nonsense, But yeah, you had a good idea, but just not even the presidential election is so important, right? Yes, it is. But did anybody look at the props that are up right now?
Oh my gosh.
The props right now
I wanted to
so
discuss
important.
the props with you.
Oh,
I was
really?
going to get into it a little bit later.
Let me click my notes, man.
I got some notes for the props too. I wanted to discuss the props.
Let me click my notes, because when I tell you that it literally.
But wait. Before we get into the props, did you watch the debates?
The debates? Yes,
Yeah.
I did watch the debates.
Okay, so unlike you, when I was a teenager, I wasn't really into politics. I just figured I was too deep in the YouTube rabbit holes. I was like your friends who are into conspiracy theories. I was like, oh, the government is corrupt. It's all corporations banding together. So I didn't really know the nuance of politics. But this is the first year where me and my homies have like sat around and like, yo, we watching the debate tonight, and that made me kind of proud. Like I was just like, yo, we not watching the NBA finals tonight. We watching the debate. Look at us trying to be informed. So when you watched the debate, were you at least entertained?
That's all it was. It didn't feel real. It didn't feel serious at all.
It felt like they was advertising WWF with next this week on WrestleMania.
You remember those games that we played when we were kids? Really, it was actually a little before our time, but they were still a little around when we were kids. But those those two little figureheads in the boxing match, and you'd have to like it was like a handheld thing, and
Oh
one was
yes,
red,
the
one was
robots.
blue.
The
The little
robots.
robots, right? That's all I felt like I was watching, only they were speaking, and it was like entertaining, you know. And I was just like, cut his mic off. Can we just cut his mic off? And then Joe was just looking like, how do I want to respond? You know, and I'm like, Joe, come on. I'm like, get it together, Joe. I just wanted to stop. I'm like, wake up, like, you know, just get it. And then I loved Joe. Remember, did you watch the debates when Joe was running for his second term for vice president last, when Obama was in office? When he was running for his second term and he was against Mitt Romney's opponent. I can't remember the guy's name.
Okay. I do remember that. That was Obama's second term.
Yeah.
I feel like that was Joe Biden's prime. He was still spry. He had
was
moves
so
then.
spry, and he was like, look, we was handling. He was like, didn't you ask me for money for this though? And then he was like, with the receipts, he was like, I wish we could show emails because I would show you how everything you were saying, you know? And I was like, ooh, kill him, Joe. Get him good, you know? And then Obama just looked annoyed that he had to be there. He was like, can I just get back to running the country? Like, this is the nonsense. Vote for me again. I got it. Thanks. But he was over it.
During these debates, he just looked like, remember Michael Jordan during them Wizard years? Or maybe Kobe's last year when it was just like, remember he used to be something, but he didn't have it no more. He's a step slow with his comebacks. All of his jokes are outdated. It's like, yo, did Obama write this speech? Who's doing this? Get some notes from this guy.
I'm just like, what is going on? And then, okay, did you see there was a video circling of Kamala doing the nay-nay? And everyone keeps saying like she's pandering, right? And I do feel like she's pandering. I am not gonna lie, because she didn't run on the black vote to get into the Senate. You know what I mean? She wasn't really focused on that. But then I'm like, I really don't care. Just let her dance. Just get up and say what you got to say. You can just vote. Why are we focused on her pandering? I'm not a fan of it, but I don't like what this is now. I walk out my house and thank God the neighborhood I live in, they're closeted Trump supporters because they just know it's just a Democratic neighborhood. So like no one has a Trump or Pence sign on the lawn. We just only see like Kamala or peace. Or like if you're against it, you got an American flag. That's all you'll show. You know?
That's how you show. That's how you
show, right? So I'm like, we know what's up with you, right?
We're American.
Exactly. You know, but I'm just not for the violence, you know? I'm just not for the violence and not feeling safe. And it just brought out so many violent people. Like they surround you now. Like they surround you just like over in Van Nuys. Like they'll come with their trucks and you're just standing there with a sign, being peaceful, saying nothing to nobody. And it's like, what is going on here?
The crazy thing, the Trump supporters are lining up in our chat right now. We got Gamers for Weirdos. He said, get the fireworks ready, Trump baby. We got
Trump Queen.
Trump Queen 2020. Trump Queen 2020 shows up every week.
Every week on everything. I mean, not the comedy show though. Next Wednesday, bitch. All right, so you know, it's just I can't. I do want to know though if I just kind of wanted to go to sleep tonight and just wake up and feel like how it was, because when the last election, it was for sure Hillary was winning. I was like, I don't know how she's gonna work it out. You know,
this election has kind of like an apocalyptic feel, especially with the whole year going on. Like I remember as a little kid when it was going from 1999 to 2000, like the whole Y2K thing. I was like, yo, what if I wake up and the world has just ended? And I get what you mean. Like everybody was saying, I saw it all day on Twitter. Yo, I have no idea what the world's gonna look like tomorrow. Only God knows what the world's gonna look like tomorrow. Do you really think it's gonna be that much change? How much damage can people do? I mean, we live in LA. We saw the Lakers win the championship. We saw the Dodgers win the championship. We seen the city get destroyed. And the next day, even with COVID, shit was backing up and running. So how much damage can just people in their pickup trucks do?
A lot.
Okay.
They can do a lot. They can do a lot.
When we're celebrating, that's different than when it's pandemonium.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, honestly, I feel like if he wins, it's because he didn't fight fair, you know, and he won on some weird technicality stuff, because it made no sense how Hillary was not put into office if she had the popular vote. And this whole electoral college thing, what I don't
talk about it. No, talk about it. Because this shit is outdated. I don't know nothing.
It needs to
but
go.
This shit
I
is
don't know
outdated.
why we can't update it. Why can't we update the system? We can update it everything else. Like one, for example, we in California, all over the United States, we have bail bondsmen. Okay, there's movies about bounty hunters and being a bail bondsman because it's a profession, right? So now they're trying to, in that specific prop, right?
Sorry, hold on. I don't want to cut you off.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right, Trump Queen. The Biden fans. They have been shaky, but you are here every week, Trump Queen. All right, my bad.
I don't know why she's not out at the rally. I really don't. I really don't. I don't. Okay, but let me tell you this. Prop 20, right? This prop will get rid of, no, sorry, my bad. It's Prop 25, right? Now this prop will get rid of like cash bonds, right? So like if you can bail yourself out of jail, it'll get rid of that. You will stay in jail till your trial, right? Which I think is kind of messed up because a lot of people, I'm erring on the side of people who I know who have been arrested for crimes that they did not commit or something that's been escalated by the police. So a person who did not do something that was as violent or as horrendous or whatever can't even bail themselves out of jail because of this prop now, because a law will be passed and then it's like, what are you supposed to do? And then also you're taking away jobs from people who provide money. You know what I mean? I feel like there should be like an amendment to the bail bonds thing as far as how much bail costs.
Well, what's negative about bail bondsmen? I don't even it seems like a positive thing to me.
It is, but so under the money bail system, if you can afford to pay your bill, you can go free. If you can't, then you stay in jail. So if you vote yes, then you would in money bail, and they're talking about it'll be safe for your community because okay, so let's say you had a wife beater, he bailed himself out, he's back on the street,
like a tank top.
Sure.
No. You said white beater. I was just making a joke. I'm sorry.
I know.
Sorry. Go ahead.
But let's say you had him and he's back on the street, right? Now I do understand that standpoint, but what about the other person who has a crime for like a petty theft or someone for riding a scooter and the officer, without a helmet, the officer decided to escalate it because they didn't like their attitude or, someone's filming something that's going down and they arrest them for obstructing justice and for all the protesters and things like that. You can't bail yourself out of jail until you have your arraignment, So, and say that, okay, you're on remand or you're not. So why would, it's just ridiculous that you don't have the option to free yourself. So you're kind of cutting off your freedom. Also people don't realize that now, I don't even know how this got passed because where was I when this happened? If you are caught having sex outside, you'll be registered as a sex offender.
That's indecent exposure.
And I'm like, no, as a sex offender?
No. Isn't there a rule? You have to be within a school zone, right?
No.
If you do it in a school zone.
No, now it's
just anywhere? If you at the movies?
It's anywhere. My mother constantly likes to remind me. So it's anywhere. She's like, bitch, if you're still doing it in the car, you're going to need to, I know you like to go to the beach for a view.
You gotta go to Rocket Man Park. Is that what its name? I think that's what it's called out here.
Exactly. It's ridiculous. And I'm like, because there's no tier of sex offender. Okay. There's just sex offender. There's a tier internally of what level you are, but when someone looks you up in the neighborhood, they're just like, "Oh, there's a sex offender."
Oh yeah, you're right. They don't give you no synopsis of what he did. He was 19 and she was 17, something like that. It's none of that. It's
none of that.
He's a sex offender.
They peed around the corner in front of a school. They peed at a park.
He wrote his name in the snow with his pee, and now he's a fucking.
And now your life's over, and I just think that's so messed up. I feel like if you were I feel like there should be tiers to the sex offender registry, and it shouldn't even be a sex offender. It's yo, you had sex in public, and we know. It's people there should just be people who have sex in public. You should just have your own category. You're if you want to shame me, fine, but at least I live my life.
Exactly. You shouldn't be. Oh, I had sex in public. Oh. I like Michael Jackson for things other than his music. It's no, you
exactly. It's just, and it's so
there's a spectrum. There's a spectrum. I want to piggyback off off the prop that you just brought up because I really didn't know anything about the props until I looked at the ballot. Only prop that I knew anything about was Prop 22 because I take Uber and Lyft. But the prop I want to talk about is Prop 17. This was when they was talking about whether or not
restoring the voting rights for for
people who are on parole.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you think about that? Because the one point that I heard is obviously just me in my life, I've been like a server at maybe IHOP or something. And some of the people who work at restaurants or some like warehouse jobs and stuff like that, these are people that, you know, got into something that when they was young and they ended up getting a charge that's like a felony. But now, you know, they're an adult trying to live a life and pay taxes and support their family. And I'm like, damn, if they, you know, they should have a say, I guess. If I got to say, I'm not a model citizen. I just haven't been caught. So
exactly. But I mean, you know that, okay, so this prop makes a lot of sense to another prop that makes sense, right? So where is it? It's the hold on. It's there's another prop that coincides with this, and it's Prop 20, right? So Prop 17 allows former felons, right, to vote. But Prop 20 it adds crimes to the list of violent felonies and restricted early parolees, right? So let's say that you had a crime that usually would be charged as a misdemeanor, that is classified as a misdemeanor. It would change certain things, like let me just get my notes so I don't sound stupid. All right, let's just pull the pad up, okay? So I just sound like I got some sense. But basically, if you had a car theft when you're young, you know what I mean? Or if you have any like fraud crimes, credit card like, you know, like crime, stuff like that, like you stole someone's identity, you were young, did check fraud or whatever. I know people who did check fraud. People just make it happen, you know what I mean? Or did some EDD fraud. There was a lot of us this year, not me. A lot of us, though.
Not me neither.
You know,
me
but
neither.
I'm not trying to get caught. I'm not trying to deal with the problems, right? So I'm like, but it wasn't me. But there was a lot of people who did that, right? Instead of that being classified as a misdemeanor, they have the option to charge you as a felony should they choose to, right? So which means you get a felony for something that's so petty and so low, and then all of a sudden now you can't vote. So it's like, we should restore the right.
I got a weed charge before weed was legal in New Jersey. That's where I'm from. Yeah. And then now one of the votes this year was whether weed should be legal now. And they voting yes on it. Everybody's like, yeah, weed's legal in Jersey. So now it's just like, damn, that whole charge that I done paid over $2,500 on was just like, oh, well, time progressed. So it's all good.
It's all good. And it wasn't even a violent charge. And you still have it on your record, you know? And it's, I'm assuming, but you know what I mean? Like it's absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, I think that I feel like certain felons should be allowed to vote again. Okay. I mean, when you open the door, sometimes you flood the gate with.
Okay. We're back on the spectrum. We're back on the spectrum.
There's a spectrum. There always is, you know, you can't help it. I mean, that's why they put kids on the damn spectrum. Shit. It's just, you know, there's a spectrum in adulthood, and it is what it is. It's the way it goes.
Can you give me an example of a good felon and then the felon where it's like, oh no, he can't vote?
Okay, so a felon who's in the Aryan Nation and who murdered people in prison and somehow got out, like that's a bad felon, right?
He shouldn't vote.
He shouldn't vote. But a felon who okay, we're gonna be real specific, but this is because I know this about somebody. Someone who murdered someone, right? But not necessarily. They shot the person to wound the person, and the person died from said wound, right? They got a life sentence, and then they got paroled, and now they made their life better, and now they're helping all like prison, you know, they're all helping prisoners get out of jail and turn their life around and doing good for the community. That's a good felon.
Since you know this person, can I ask without asking any incriminating information, can I ask questions about this case?
Yeah. So you can ask. I mean, okay, look, this is a guy that I dated, and I used to call him my murderer. So
God damn, I didn't even ask the question. You was just like, nah, I'll tell you all about it.
I'll tell you, I used to call him my little murderer. So he used to be in a gang, and gang life is, and I was like, really, you Asian? What's you weren't in the triad? You Thai, so I don't understand. Okay, whatever. So you know, he was in a gang, and
he was the accountant for the gang.
You know, and so they were like, we're gonna roll up and we're just gonna shoot. We're just shooting up the spot, but there happened to be people in there, right? And so he didn't intentionally go there to kill somebody, but you did kill someone. So he was convicted of, I think it was like 2nd-degree murder or whatever, right? Got a life sentence, but did have parole, you know, so did have the option for parole. He got denied for parole twice, and then I think he did like 20 years, got out. You know, you good?
I'm sorry, I'm checking in on the election.
How we doing?
It looks like the Democratic is winning the House and the Senate.
Okay, good. We need to win the House. Woo woo.
And Biden is up 94 to 80 to Trump's 86. I don't know. Maybe you can give a little bit more detailed analysis than what I can keep up on.
I feel like I was watching CNN earlier, and it was looking great. Biden, he won New York, which is great. Okay.
Oh, New York, that's a big one.
He won New York. Okay.
He was expected to win that, right?
Yeah, he was. And then Trump won North Dakota and South Carolina, big whoop. But Biden won New Mexico. Okay, so we got our West Coast together. And we're excited about that. You know what I mean? So, hey, just we need to keep that.
Get back to your murderer and why he's a good person. You're like, nah, he's a good guy though. I see his spirit.
he turned his life around. Okay, he drives a Tesla now. Bought his mother a house.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Started his own cleaning company that he hires former felons.
He's moving on up.
Okay, yeah, and he works. He was like, I need you to come to the prison and volunteer with me. And I say, now that's not how committed I am to this relationship.
Right. He was like, hey, what's love got to do with that?
Exactly. I was like, I don't think I'm there. Okay, I don't think I'm there. No, I've had family members who spent time, who's done stints in prison. I don't like going. I mean, they're a lot nicer to volunteers than they are to visitors. Let's just be very real. Because when you go to visit somebody, they're assholes. And it's like, you gotta I have a really big chest. I need a wire under this bra, okay? And having to take it out is just a lot. And then it's like, you can't have anything that's form fitting. It's really annoying, okay? It's just very difficult. There's no cover when it's raining. Then you drive away out to the prison.
All your reasons for not wanting to go to jail was fashion reasons. He was like, you know what? I don't like how this fits, and this isn't gonna hold me right. I was just like, wait, there's other problems in there. I don't know what you think of the Orange Is the New Black,
nasty. I'm tired of eating vending machine food for 6 hours. It's a long drive. I don't want to do it. I've had to do these things. It's not for me. Okay. So, and then oh my God. And then just think about all the games you used to pre-COVID, all the games we used to touch and stuff that had that were just nasty. And we were wiping them down and spraying them off to play Uno. Oh my God. I'm not down for this, so I don't need to go to the prison to volunteer. I'm okay. Okay. Thank you very much. My biggest fear is that there's a riot and then I die. I just watched too many prison shows. So it just freaks me out. Okay. That's my biggest fear because I have been there once when a riot broke out, but we were in the visitor section, but the way that they get you out, it feels very slow. It feels very delayed. And you're like, this is not quick enough to me because I can see my car, but I can't hop the fence because the wires is on the fence. So I need y'all to open this gate up. And the way that they were just they were like, protocols, guys. And I was like, fuck the protocols. Just let us leave. I don't need to hug goodbye. I don't care. Can I get out of here? So I'm not really with it. Okay, what's this? Democrats, okay, we're keeping control of the House. Great. That's an update. All right, cool. So, all right.
Can we get back to the props? I have another prop I want to discuss with you.
The prop.
Because honestly, all of these I felt like were very good, moral discussions.
Yeah.
Prop 16, pretty much bringing back affirmative action.
Yo, a hoe was with it.
Grants and loans.
Wait, which prop did you say? 16?
Yes, I believe I'm correct. Prop 16?
Yep.
Yeah. Bringing back grants and loans and specific government programs that benefit people of color and, and things of that nature. Now I'm going to give you both points of views that I have.
Yes.
My first point of view is this. All families are not created equal. So these grants that are for people of color, I think sometimes that the benefit of the doubt or the thought of oppression is for people of color. And I think that it's more of a class thing. I think that Black people have their elite, Black people have their upper middle class, their middle class. Every race has their tiers. And what I'm saying is, if it's about helping people who are at a disadvantage, I would like to see a grant for maybe single parent households or a grant for kids who had to grow up with their grandparents or something like that, because those family dynamics also come out as a disadvantage. Now, my other point of view, you're gonna hate. Is this racism? Is it racist to give us an advantage where say a person who is Caucasian wouldn't be able to do this, even though this person of Caucasian may have grew up in the hood, they may be poor, they may have grew up with a single mom. Are they left out?
No. You want to know why I say no?
Please.
Because they're
yes.
Caucasian. No, I don't think so at all. My parents named me Alex Noel. And you want to know why they chose Alex Noel?
I very much know why. Look at my name.
Exactly. Sean Connor. My mom wanted to make sure when I walk in a room, you don't know what race I am. You don't just pass on my resume because my name
When
is
they come out in the office looking at your resume, they come out, all right, they're like, it's you?
I've literally walked into job interviews and they're like, you're not Stephanie Johnson? And I'm like, no, I'm Alex Noel. And they're like, no, I was just talking to Alex. Like, I was like, yeah, that's me.
Right.
You know what I mean? And like my dad, like really, like, I'm a kid you not, he was like, I want them, like, he didn't say this, but he implied this very strongly throughout the years. But because of the way they were very particular about my speech, they were like, you will not have an on-off switch to your blackness. You know how like every Black woman has her voice and has her, I feel like I was robbed. I do not have the option to turn on my Black woman voice. It is Valley and Vallier, and that is it. And it just sounds like Becky all day, every day, 365 days a year. And I can't just get into it. Like when I'm like talking to people of color, trying to just like fit in, they're like,
right. It's like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah, they're like, what are you doing? Like when I went to visit my sister, because she went to an HBCU, because she came back and I was like, your speech has changed.
She was like, hey, what up, dog?
She was like, for real. And I was like, what? We don't talk like that.
Our father didn't raise us to speak.
I was like, we don't speak like this. What are you talking about? You know? And so when I went over there, they were like, oh, you're from California, huh? And I was like, what? Yeah, I'm from California. And you know, I'm just like, they're like, it's not even like, oh, she's too bubbly. It's like, oh, she talks white. And it's like, no.
This is an interesting point. Can Kamala escape her blackness with a name like Kamala? Or is she Black no matter what? Because you just said that she don't be riding for the Black, or she didn't go for the Black vote. And I'm saying, how could she not go for the Black vote with a name like Kamala? It's like, if you see that on the ballot, you're either thinking Middle Eastern or us.
Yeah, you are. Because you're saying Kamala, but I say Kamala.
Oh, okay. I'm messing up the name then. I sound like the senator
Who
down
knows
in Georgia.
what it is? I don't know. It's Kamala or Kamala, shit. But Kamala, I say Kamala Harris, right? And that could be,
let's go with your pronunciation. You know
what I mean? Like I say it's like it's either or, you know? So it can go either way. Sean Connor, I'm not thinking Black guy. I'm thinking ethnically ambiguous. What is it? Sure. You know, like what is it? So I definitely think that we should have just because like even there's just so many advantages that you get that just come with being Caucasian. It's just the way that it is. I wish it would change. I hope it changes in our lifetime.
I know.
You know, I hope it changes in our lifetime, but that's not necessarily like what's happening right now, especially under this administration. So I'm really here for it.
Give me 1 second. I'm listening to you. I'm grabbing some drink.
Oh, yep. Yes. Okay. So yeah. I'm like, I don't even know where to go, but yeah.
Let us know in the chat what you guys are drinking tonight. Allie, what are you sipping on?
You know what? I am, because you know I call you Tequila Satchel, so I'm just slipping on some tequila tonight. You know what I mean? I just got a little.
I appreciate that thought and consideration.
You know,
even if it wasn't for me, I appreciate the game.
You know, exactly. What are you sipping on? I see the glass bottle and everything. Is that brandy, whiskey? What is it?
Oh, who you telling? It's a little whiskey, just some Jameson.
It's a little whiskey. Yeah, I've never really been into whiskey, but have you had the Tennessee Jack Daniels, the Tennessee honey?
The honey Jack? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. Now that I will drink that whiskey there. I'm a sweet person though. I like sweet drinks. So
okay. Now this may be too sweet. This is diabetes in a cup. But if you get the honey Jack with a vanilla Coke, it's good.
Oh really? Okay. No, I'm the type of person that goes to Starbucks and I'm like, okay, can I get a caramel frap, please, made diabetic style? Thank you. Like I want to be in a diabetic coma. Thank you. And they know what you mean, like diabetic. And I'd be like, all the caramel, all up in there in the cup. I want every sip in it.
Can you help me? This is off topic, but can you help me? I want to get into Starbucks because I want to be down, but I don't like coffee. What can I order? What can I go in there? Go in there and I mean.
Wait, what is it about coffee you don't like? Is it because you don't like black coffee, or is it just like, I like coffee flavored things. I don't like pure coffee.
The taste of coffee, anytime I've ever drunk coffee successfully, I've had to mix it half and half with hot chocolate. But I don't really like hot beverages. I'm not a hot person. So the most I've had that I've enjoyed is kind of like they've got these kind of dragon fruit kind of drink. Maybe it's got berries in it.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. But I feel like I'm going out of my way just to be like, oh, look at me with it's not even the proper Starbucks cup. It's the clear one. You don't get no respect with that.
Yeah. It's yeah. Look, you do get respect because it's Starbucks, okay? But honestly, I'm gonna keep it real with you. I'm a coffee bean girl. I'm not a Peet's coffee.
Oh, okay.
Coffee bean.
That's because you're from LA?
No.
Or no. You just
tastes
have
better.
class.
I'm about
You just
my
have
taste
class.
buds.
Okay.
I'm about my taste buds, okay? Like, honestly, I love Lavazza beans, but you have to go to like a specific cafe to get that. So not everybody's carrying Lavazza from Italy, you know.
I used to work at AT&T in Calabasas, and there was a coffee bean right next to there, and the Jenners would always go there. And I feel like they've got taste.
The janitors. Yes, me and the janitors have the same taste.
I said the Jenners.
Oh, the Jenners?
Yes.
Oh, like the janitors?
The Kardashians, the Jenners.
Oh, yeah, the Jenners.
Yeah.
No,
they
but
would
coffee
always...
bean tastes better. Like Starbucks really waters down their coffee, like heavily.
So the people working on their laptops at Starbucks, they're just acting like they're working. And then the people working on their laptops at Coffee Bean, they actually have screenplays and stuff that are going to sell.
I feel like the determination is more focused. You know, I mean, honestly, if I see somebody with a white Monster or a white Rockstar, I know you about it because the white one has the more terrain in it. You know what I mean? And it has the zero sugar, so they give you more caffeine. Oh my God. Like I've been drinking them like nonstop because I just have had to do a lot of work lately. And they're like, I'm like, bump coffee. We with the energy drinks today. Okay. So, I mean, like I used to drink energy drinks when I was younger and then, you plateau and they stop working. So I didn't have like drinks for like 10 years. And then now I'm like, why did I stop drinking Monsters?
Allie, I believe in your democratic beliefs, but you have the nuances of a Republican. You be like, you know what? Hey, listen, I like what I like.
Just the nuances. No, but I'm definitely a Democrat. Okay. Like, honestly, like, okay, here, like, so how do you feel about certain, influential people like celebrities who are voting for Trump because they're like, it makes more sense for me financially. Right. But my thing is like, you can't take this money with you when you die. And, so like, what are you really doing with it? Yeah, you keep some money in your pocket, but if you're like Mike Tyson and just blow it all, that man has like maybe like 300,000 in the bank right now. So what are we doing? So we're holding on to this for what? We're holding on to this for 4 years for what? It's just, I don't get it. It's just, I don't understand the mindset to just keep everything to yourself, and then if you're someone who's surviving off unemployment right now, you're fucked. So I don't get your mindset right now,
it's tough for me to, because I definitely get what you're saying, like, do what's best for the people instead of always what's best for yourself. But some of these people, and I'm just playing devil's advocate here, but some of these people are, I'm only going to speak about the people I know. Some of the people that might be in the NBA or that might be like a rapper, like they may be afraid of, anything I make over $400,000 will be tax crazy, because they also do stuff like give turkeys back during Thanksgiving, give coats out during like the holidays, and that's their tax write-offs. So that they do try to balance it out. It's just the way taxes work for the rich. You get taxed on how taxes work with income tax. Like if you go to a job, they take your taxes out of your paycheck. But with like when you're making your own money, like from a business that you own yourself, you spend all you can spend, and then whatever's left gets taxed. That's why Kanye West is like, my net worth is 3.5 billion, but I'll only net maybe 50 million. So he's getting taxed on 50 million, not 3.5 billion.
Yeah.
So like, if a person is doing charitable acts for their taxes, then I feel like we should leave charitable acts to the people who have worked to be there. And I do understand that like you could stand to have a little bit less, but I think that the people that really do got it like that, the people like Bill Gates or something like that, Jeff Bezos. I feel like there are people who are like, I'll give away more than you guys could ever tax me.
True, but does he really? Because I'm not really seeing it. So I'm not really seeing it. I'm seeing it definitely with Bill. Bill definitely gives it away. Props up to Bill. Jeff, I'm gonna need to see a little bit more from you, especially towards your employees. Especially
Okay,
towards their health care.
Jeff just got hit in that divorce pretty hard. Can we give him
He
a
did
year or
not
two?
get hit that hard. He only lost a couple bill. Okay, off of like he only lost a couple.
How you just say that? Yo, he only lost a couple bill. Like how
It's
you
like
just
someone
say
who
that?
asked me how much the homes cost in your neighborhood. I'm like, oh, they're only 1.5. And they're like, did you hear yourself? And I'm like, yeah, it's only 1.5. And they're like, well, how much is that one renting for? And I'm like, oh, just 7,000. You know, that's what, 2 movies? Okay, great. So, you know, it's all how you look at it. Is the glass half empty or half full?
And that's what I'm saying. But
is it
in our capitalist society, what is the American dream? I think the programs that allow people like us to have the opportunity to even the playing field are very important. But if you were in this situation where you just got your first million and then you get $1 million check, but because of taxes, it's now 300,000 versus it could be 600,000. Would that change your vote or no? And that's a very small number. Like we can multiply that times 10,
isn't awesome.
100.
God, he raised from heaven above. He gonna get a bitch more money. Like I'm just saying.
Okay.
That's how I look at it. It's like, I mean, I'm actually more spiritual than anything, and I'm all about manifesting things. Like I keep looking at my ex. Like if you manifest winning this lotto, we could talk. And I just don't see you doing that. You're not even buying tickets. So I don't know where we go from here.
So do you think government, especially the president, government should be a position of morality? They should have the people's mindset.
I think that's a really good question. I think we should bring Kristen in. We have a guest.
Oh, please.
Yes. I think we should bring Kristen in.
I've been rambling. I'm sorry.
Yes, no, you're totally fine. But I think that's a really good question to bring her in and say. We are bringing on Kristen Johnez, guys. And so Kristen Brock Johnez.
Hello, Kristen.
Hey. Hi. So, okay, ask Kristen the question. She's an adult and I trust her.
Yeah, first, before I ask you this question, I want to preface it. Hello, thank you so much for joining us.
Yes.
And I just want to say that I am a 20-something, uninformed, just learning about politics. So excuse my naivete. Is positions in government like the House, the Senate, or even the president, the commander-in-chief, are those positions of morality, or are they in charge of making sure the machine or the business or the corporations are happy? And I that was a heavy loaded question. Just make it simple. Is that a question of moral, or is that a position of morality?
I think it's both, right? Like, I think we live in a capitalistic white supremacist society, right? And our politics are very closely tied into corporations and rich people. Like, they all kind of go hand in hand. And so, yes, there are a number of people in politics and in positions of power who are very much in it just to make money. And that is it. There is no morality. It's just about making money. It's what it's always been about for them. And, you know, like, I don't know if we've always been the greatest at keeping everybody accountable to the job that they're promising they're going to do when they get their asses voted into office.
So is that on us to be able to see, this guy's got some morality? That's on us to decide with our vote.
It's up to us to check them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think I'm also not the most educated person when it comes to every single aspect of government and, you know, the overall culture that we live in. But, you know, I have morality, right? I know the difference between right and wrong. And I think that there are a number of people in Congress who are AOC as an example. There are a number of women, women of color. There are a number of LGBTQIA plus folks and all the intersections of that are in office that are genuinely in office because they are invested in the people, in their communities, right? That is why they are in office. They are in office to serve. These politicians, that they all are in office to serve us. We pay their paychecks.
Mm-hmm. I very much agree with you. The only thing that scares me a lot of times is, and this is an irrational fear because I've only seen it happen on a local scale. I'm from New Jersey, and I've seen a small town politician go from just being on the council board to the mayor, and the power that he got along the way seemed to corrupt him, because he was influenced by, well, I got to keep this person happy. I got to keep this person happy. And I noticed that even when we decide like, all right, this guy is, or this gal or this person is moral, we see them get swept up. And that's what the scary part about it is, when I just feel that I may not know enough. Because I'm going off, oh, I feel this person. I like this person. I'm voting for them. And they may just be, like you said, they promised me a bunch of stuff. And now once they got the position, wait, what happened to that person I liked?
I feel like it's really easy to be swayed. And because you do have to, because it's politics. So it's like, hey, my people, my district needs this bridge built. Okay, well, you need that bridge built. Well, I need you to sign off on this bill for me to not clean the water over here. Okay. And it's like, wait, what? But do you want your bridge? Okay, you want your bridge? Okay, because I can get you your bridge. And then I could get you also some other things too, and some cash for your campaign. So I feel like it's super easy.
And did you want that Rolls Royce? And did you want that fur coat? You'd be like, oh, damn.
You'd be like, all of that, you know? So I feel like it's so easy to be swayed. Like if we just start putting more, because I feel like they already have an ethics people who keep them in check, right? But not enough, because how are public officials able to hold stake in private prisons? How are they able to do that? Because then you would be passing bills to make sure things would get more money in your pocket. That's why private prisons are like so lucrative, because you're like, we're getting all this cash from the government and from all this stuff. Like, you know, because we still pay for the prisons. They're private, but we pay for them. That comes out of our pocket. They make that money. And the more beds that they fill, and the fact that they are, like, I don't even think people really realize that a lot of the prisons are getting rid of separation. They're putting the murderers and the rapists and the pedophiles all together in just one yard,
just one big block. Crazy gumbo. That is,
and one big thing. And then just like, I feel like honestly, it's a culling, and it's just like, let them kill each other and see who lasts and what happens. And because they're just trying to get the money, and it's like, but you're not really rehabilitating people. You're not trying to make this world a better place. You're just worried about your pocket. And it's like, I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense. And this is lucrative to you, not to the people, not to your district. It's to you. You make this money. We pay you. So all the people who are talking about, higher taxes and stuff like that, and then you're electing these officials in, I mean, I'd rather you just give these officials money than they come from the prisons, the money that we're paying, you know, because like the poor is technically taxed a bit more. Think about it. You basically get 20% taken out of your check. 20%. It's like 18 point something, but let's just round it up, because you know, after 5 you got
I get what you're saying. What comes out from us is so much more detrimental than what comes out for them,
to our livelihood and to us. So like, you know, we got to go to the store and I get paid $300 and I'm only walking home with 2 something, and I'm like, but my bills are this, and how am I supposed to pay for that, you know? And then on top of that, in California, we got sales tax that's at 10% in Southern California. And it's like, am I going to drive all the way to Long Beach so I can get that 8%? No, you're wasting gas.
Kristen, are you in California as well?
I am, yeah.
Oh, okay. We were talking about, me and Allie were breaking down some of the props earlier. Did any of them stick out particularly to you?
You know, I always get so overwhelmed with all of the props and all of the voting. And
me too.
Yeah.
I had to watch a YouTube tutorial just to even know what I was.
So it is all such a haze to me. I know I voted very blue, and, you know, I'm very pro community. I voted, you know, against Jackie Lacey. Yeah, because that's the thing. It's like, you're not just voting for the president, like you're also voting on a number of props and judges and different people in.
And these are the judges that, I mean, honestly, this is how I vote. If I was to be put in jail for a crime that I did not commit, how is the system going to handle me?
Yep.
You really should think like that, because it happens to people every single day.
Yep.
And especially as a person of color, that should be on your mind. And so literally you can go for traffic court. The traffic court judge treats her job like a freaking comedy show at the Beverly Hills Courthouse, okay? It got so bad that she will not allow phones in there because she's hilarious, though. I absolutely love her. She's super great and super nice and works with you, okay? Because she was like, bitch, this is you in the video. Don't try and tell me, because she was like, that's a nice birthmark that I can see from right here, okay? So, so she got me, okay? I couldn't really finesse my way out of that one. But the fact of the matter is that when you put these judges in place, the judges who are like, I don't really feel like you're remorseful. So I'm just going to veto what the jury said, and I'm just going to go with my ruling, right? Or you know what? I don't feel like we really need to dismiss this case. I feel like you need to do this. Like how a child gets sent to juvie for not doing her homework for 3 months.
Right.
For 3 months. And then also, I'm paying for you to be petty. We're paying your salary for you to get your petty agenda and get that out of your system because you argued with your husband last night because your teenage daughter pissed you off and you said, I can't get this bitch, but I can get you.
Also, even worse, if somebody comes through that does something truly heinous, if they have enough money and enough resources, that goes away.
Yeah.
You pay for the new beach house? Oh, he's free. He's free to go. Oh, you pay for my new boat, the SS, whatever you want to call it? Oh, he's free to go.
Exactly. And we need to hold them accountable. We need to look at this and we need to stay up on it. I mean, if people really wonder, we live in California, right? Why is K-Town so dirty? Why is it so dirty and nasty? It's because the people who live there and the people who own property there will not vote correctly. They don't go and vote the right way to get because all of that comes down to your voting and your council member and your congressman. That all comes down to them cleaning up the streets. So why is it when you go 5 blocks west of K-Town, you're like, oh, the street's really nice and the street sweeping really comes on time. It's really cool. They take out the trash and everything. And then you go to K-Town, you're like, it's just roach infested city and it's nasty and it's never clean. That doesn't make any sense. Then you go downtown, and then you got Skid Row, and then it's like, but we have all these programs in place for affordable housing, for the, all of that, for the affordable housing and the commission and all of that stuff. And no one thinks about these things. You're like, why does Skid Row look like that? Why does Koreatown look like that? Why does South LA?
I can honestly give a perspective on why, and you're absolutely right. Like the programs are in place. Why don't people take advantage of them? It is like it's a shame to say, but it's just a mental barrier where somebody will be like, oh damn, I gotta fill out a job application to get the job. I don't know how to do no job application. And just because they don't have that simple knowledge of take 30 minutes and write your name 5 times. That's all you got to do. Mm-hmm. And because they don't have that patience or just that resource of because even at the library, you got to pay for internet $0.25 a minute and then they kick you out of there if you stink. And I'd be like, it is a lot of hoops and barriers to jump through where you just be like, man, fuck it. I guess I'm homeless.
You're like, I got to take an assessment to work at Target. Oh, well, Target don't need me.
Right. And that sucks. That sucks on both parts, that how the system doesn't try to change that mindset and how that mindset is even in place. Because like I was mentioning before, for me, some of these problems aren't really a race thing. I think it's more of a class thing where, the people in power like it this way and the people that don't know no better are made to not know no better.
Yeah. That's exactly how it is. But then there comes a point in time where it's like, I can't stand it when I hear my friends complain about certain things. And I'm like, you don't vote, though. I'm going to be real. I did not know who our governor was.
Tell us about, you said your family member had, they were with a Trump supporter, but it was like, this person don't even vote.
Yeah. My sister, her boyfriend is a Trump supporter. And I was like, when she said this, I was like, why is your name still on the lease? I don't understand.
So he's a Trump supporter in theory, but not in practice.
But it's like, because he doesn't vote. So it's like, it's harmless. But I mean, his points are, all Trump is doing is bringing out the people who are pretending not to be racist. So would you rather not know that they're racist in your face, or would you rather them keep pretending and then doing things secretly behind your back? And yes, Trump does make the rich richer, but what about when you finally get your money? Because that's where we're headed, baby. So what do you not want to think about this? And then I'm sitting here like, okay, now you didn't bring up the death pods, so I'm going to hear you out, okay? And I'm going to listen to what you have to say. But no, it is inciting violence. It's inciting people to just pick up stuff and just hit somebody or get out their car and be like, you know what? Road rage is a sport now. Okay,
Right,
there is no
right.
more honking your horn. When people be like, man, I wish I could horsewhip them. It's like basically it's like the purge. I feel like I've always said this. I feel like if we could all kill 5 people in our lifetime, the world would be a better place, right?
God
You get
damn.
5 people. You get 5 people to kill. That's what I feel like this is. You know what I mean? I used to joke about that because I was like, what if you just was like, you just gotta go? But it can't be any of your family members, but like, you gotta go. And then I was like, no, but he was one of my 5, so I can't be arrested. And you're like, okay, girl, okay, it was one of your 5, right? And it's whatever reason you see fit, right? But that's really what this is turning into.
Oh man, that would change the new meaning to MySpace's top 5.
But it's like my top, like that's literally what it feels like. It's like, you know what? My president supports this type of rhetoric. My president supports white supremacy. My president, the fact that we have all these statues of all these white men who did all these heinous crimes, but we barely have statues of Black men and people of color who've done great things. Cesar Chavez only gets murals. Where's his statue? Martin Luther King only gets a boulevard.
I definitely agree with you because, even with some of these issues that we discussed within this last hour, you can sway on the side of each other morality, but when you're spreading hate, there's no room for that. Especially when you're considered the leader of the free world. Spreading hate obviously can't be your platform, like your domain, like your foundation. It's just like, yo, I'm gonna spread everything out from this tree. The roots of this tree is hate. It's like, how do you come with that? But
how do you deal with that?
What I want to ask y'all, and this is me getting into the conspiracy bag. So Ali, shut me up if you need to. But are Trump and Biden, I would say, the way we just talked about on the small level of politics, how you can get influenced by the fur coat or the new house, are they influenced by big money? And are there decisions, they may have moral decisions that they want to make, but they have to maintain these relationships. Because I feel like people even do that on a small scale. I've done that with my friends where I saw my friend do something where I didn't really vibe with, but because he was my friend and I wanted to stay in that social circle, I let that slide a little bit. And I would go to maybe when we were one-on-one, I'll put them aside and like, hey, this wasn't cool. But while we was in that group, that social circle, while the cameras was on, I let it slide. Do you think that happens on a much larger scale with these high-level politicians?
Kristen, I'll let you take it.
Yeah, please, Kristen.
I mean, absolutely. Absolutely. Like there's so many things happening every day, all day long that we should all be calling out that we either are or we are not. So misogyny, racism, white supremacy, xenophobia, transphobia,
toxic masculinity.
Yes, it's a boys club. I agree. It's a boys club. I agree.
And I feel like we all have our job as far as who we're supposed to be calling out. And I think anytime we come across anything that we know does not sit well with us morally, I think we have a moral obligation to fucking say something, even if we lose friends.
Even if it's uncomfortable. I agree.
People don't want to hear it, even if it's fucking uncomfortable. When do we change if we are never challenging ourselves, if we're never challenging status fucking quo? When does that happen, right? Like, I as a plus size queer woman, I need straight size, women to break down fat phobia, right? I need white men to break down racism and white supremacy. They're the ones that hold it in place.
Kristen, you can add Kristen, but I'm sorry, Allie. Kristen, you can ask Allie. I love a woman with curves on her, so I'm on your team.
Yeah, but we live in such a fat phobic. I mean, just so many it's crazy to me, but it all stems from white supremacy. Like it all stems from white supremacy. So when are we going to finally burn the shit to the ground?
I feel like we were on our way.
When are we going to put emphasis on people investing in the community? When is that going to be something that we worship? Why do we worship rich people?
Mm-hmm.
Why do we worship people who hoard money, who hoard resources? Like, why is that something we all want to aspire to? That's my question, right? Like, I don't actually need that much, right? Even living in a capitalist society, there's a certain amount that you need, and then everything after that is what you want. And like, we're not even giving people access to the basic necessities needed in order to start that journey. You guys were talking before about like Skid Row.
Yes.
And why people don't access resources. And I worked in the community for almost 15 years directly with, displaced communities. And I will tell you, there are a lot of services to access, but they make it very challenging to access those services. There are so many hoops you have to jump through, depending on your I mean, it's easier for white men. It's easiest for white men to access all of those services and get back on their motherfucking feet. And then there's so many intersections and, you add different demographics on top of it. It just gets increasingly harder. How do you put your name on an application when your name does not match your ID because your name does not match your ID, right? Like our trans sisters who are trying to get jobs and their names do not match what is on their ID and their gender does not match their gender. And they're supposed to go find a job.
To make it even a hoop for like language barriers or just because, an incompetent worker is having a bad day, I'm gonna send this person on because I can't understand them. And it does suck.
It does. And I feel like everything is root cause analysis and it all can be traced back to white supremacy. So as soon as we start fucking addressing white supremacy, the sooner we can all hopefully move on and live our fucking lives. Because I'm so sick of white supremacy dictating to me and to all of us how we are supposed to live our fucking lives. How do a bunch of rich white men know how I should live my life?
I want to give you an olive branch of hope because I very much agree with you. And as I said to you before, I don't have the knowledge for the cure for white supremacy, but I'm very hopeful because I feel like my nieces and nephews, the kids that are growing up after my age, it's going to be phased out. Like, it's almost like, as Allie was saying, the 18-year-olds that she saw at the polls were so enthusiastic and so informed and had so much knowledge. I remember when I was 18, I was worried about drinking my first beer. I was just, I don't care who's the president. Like that makes me so happy though, that because I'm 10 years their senior and I can trust them to have knowledge that I can follow and better myself. It makes me hopeful for, the generation after them and the generation after them is just going to keep exponentially getting better.
Yes. Well, and I worked the polls for the first term that Obama was in office, right? And when I tell you, it was so beautiful. And I got placed at the Beverly Hills Country Club. And, it was nice because they catered lunch. Okay. I had like,
who you telling, right?
It was real nice. Okay. So, and I was
you was
there,
like, wait, I can have as many as I want? All right.
It was so nice. And to see all the people who came in at the country club, you wouldn't even have expected that there was going to be that many people of color to come in.
I think George cut us. Did you, George?
Did you cut us? No.
All right. I'm sorry. He came on.
Right. Because we got to start the Owl House soon, but Sean's going to be on there. But to see all the people who came out, and I mean, when I tell you, you could tell who was a Republican and who was a Democrat. It was very apparent because the Republicans weren't friendly. But the Democrats were like, yep, we got Obama, a black man. What? We're ready. Right? They were all chit-chatty and super excited. And I just loved the fellowshipping and just because I'm a people person, I love talking, and I just loved how warm and welcoming everybody was.
It was like black people won the championship.
And it was so nice and beautiful. And it was like we're just all human beings and we have our views and we don't. But it wasn't like the Republicans were nasty. They were just like, I know you're for the other side. You just have so much hope in your eyes. And it's like I'm obviously a woman of color, so they're like, we know who she's going for, even though I'm like 15, 16,
You got so much hope. You got so much hope.
Yeah, so much hope in her eyes. We're not talking to her, but then when you see the first election with Trump, you could just see the divide and just the spread. And then now even more so, and just the hate. And it's like, why do we want to walk around being so angry and just so supreme when really you go home to nothing and you drive a Honda Accord from the 90s and you have nothing in your pocket, and he's doing nothing to put more money in your pocket? I don't know why we're not thinking about that. Then my friend who's a Trump supporter, the conspiracist one about the death pods, right? She's like, when you own property, things are just different. Bitch, you own one house in Pennsylvania. It is so cheap to get a house in Pennsylvania. Talk to me when you have $1 million property.
I've heard this. I've heard this as well. A lot of people, like, when I get into it and be like voting for Trump, and they come and be like, "Oh, you must not own anything." I'll be like, "Damn, you're right. I don't own a house yet, so maybe I just don't understand."
But it doesn't apply to you. It's not applicable to you if you were under a certain tier bracket. I don't care if you own a house. The house was 10 grand.
If you don't own a jet, then you're not in that conversation.
Have several seats if you don't own a jet. Have several seats if you don't have a 6-car garage. Have several seats if you do and you still vote for him.
If you don't have a show on syndication, then you're not on this. You know
what I mean?
You're not in this combo.
Even Omarosa had to get out. Okay. She had to get out. And we were like, what is up, Omarosa? What is up? All right. And then she was like, y'all, I'm sorry. I gotta go. But I got my recordings. And was like, thank you, girl. All right, you did it for the cause, so we forgive you. You welcome back. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, it's ridiculous. Like, honestly, have you guys ever thought about running for office? I really would run for office if I hadn't sent so many nudes in my life. So would y'all run for office?
As a young man, I was very, I guess, well-spoken and charismatic. So my community put me on a pipeline to kind of be mayor and to be a politician. So I have thought about running for a small office, and I decided, power corrupts people. I would rather gain my own power than have somebody decide who I can be and wear a suit. And I just didn't want to be that guy until I was like 30, 35. But I didn't want to be that guy at 21. But I have thought about running for office, and I don't think that I could handle it, because as soon as they tell me the secrets, the government secrets, I'm gonna be like, yo, Allie, guess what's up? These niggas got aliens and they fucking killed Martin Luther King. I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna just be blabbing, and then they gonna kill me. And
I couldn't keep anything to myself. I couldn't be like a high level executive. You know, when you watch the Jason Bourne movies, the Bourne Identity and stuff, right? Or like any of those spy movies, and they trying to come get the spy, like the CIA is like, oh, we got to kill them. They're now a red person and they can't be a part of the CIA anymore, right? So then the operatives are going to go kill like the main character, right? And then the main character ends up killing the spies that were trying to come get him. I'm that spy who died trying to kill the main character. I just feel like my reflexes aren't as quick. And I just feel like
you was just trying to do your job.
I was just trying to do my job, and I just feel like I lose my life for trying to do my job. And I'm like, we could have just let her live. She was in the Poconos, like it was just, she could have stayed there. She was in Madagascar.
We could have deactivated her YouTube. Nobody would have heard none of that shit.
She just had a little boutique. She was just living her life with Carlos. Like, why didn't we let her live? Why are we going to go get Jason? He was in a cabin. I mean, what is he doing?
Allie, please introduce our next guest.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry to cut you off.
Okay, so technically we are now starting the Outhouse Radio Show, guys. Hi, hello. And
it's a crossover episode. It's a crossover
episode. And so we are going to be bringing in D Marvelous, who is the host, my co-host of the Outhouse Radio Show. It is his show and I'm a correspondent. And these are our guests, Sean Connor and Kristen Brock-Johnaz. Okay, so let's bring in D Marv. He's on his way in right now, and we will be back in 2 minutes.
as a failure of the Trump administration and then vote for Joe Biden, or were they going to stick with the president despite the surge? 1,000 people died today of coronavirus, and yet when we're looking at the map, we really don't see that much has changed as far as the way people generally. We haven't, again, heard from the battleground states yet, but we haven't seen a lot of change from how people cast their votes in 2016. There really couldn't be much more daylight between these two candidates as far as how they've said.
Well, yeah, I want to take that to Jen Ashton, because Jen, we've seen all through this campaign such different visions on how to handle the pandemic from Joe Biden and from Donald Trump, as the entire country, basically more than 42 states, are in the grip of this second wave.
Absolutely, George. And we heard Dr. Deborah Birx in an internal White House memo citing that we're going into the most dire period of the pandemic to date. She is expecting to see 100,000 cases a day in the next week. And we have seen different approaches. We've seen different approaches when it comes to testing. We have seen some missteps. We've seen a series of broken down communications and mistrust in the biggest and most powerful public health organizations we have, the CDC, the FDA, the World Health Organization. And to circle back to the state of Arizona, you know, to pick up on what Cecilia and Lindsay have said, we have seen from the beginning of this pandemic, while it did not start the racial and ethnic disparities that exist in medicine and healthcare, it certainly put them under a spotlight. And when you look at the state of Arizona, one population, George, that we have not heard that much about, American Indians and Alaskan Natives, there is a disproportionate effect of this pandemic, this virus. They represent 4% of the Arizona population, 12% of deaths. This is a population, George, that 30 to 40% of residents do not have running water in their homes. So when you talk about battling this virus, it's not just about the vaccine and therapeutics. It's, you know, very widespread.
David Muir, what are we seeing in the exit polls about all this? We have national exit polls.
We do now, yeah. That's right, George. And, you know, just to pick up on Lindsay's point that there could not be more daylight between President Trump and Joe Biden in how they put themselves forward as how they would deal with this pandemic moving forward. Joe Biden saying, I can't flip a switch and fix things, but we do have to address the virus before we can address the economy. But look at this. This is the first time we're going to be able to do this, 11 p.m. Eastern. So if containing COVID, the pandemic, was the way you voted today over rebuilding the economy, and look at this, 51% to 42% in the exit polling. When you break that down, Joe Biden, 80% to Donald Trump's 18%, if the most important issue to you was containing COVID-19. Now, if the most important issue was opening the country, getting the economy going again, it's almost the complete opposite, 76% with Donald
Hey guys,
Trump,
welcome back to another episode of
Joe
The Outhouse.
Biden.
I'm your
And
girl,
among
Allie, and we got
independents,
D
we're seeing
Marvelous. What's up, man?
We got the
election version.
Independents in
The
the
election version 2020 presidential election. We got our guest Sean Connor and Kristen.
You know what?
Donald
Let's,
Trump's
you know what?
33%. If we look at men,
Stop calling this the
49% Donald Trump,
presidential election. This is the
48% Joe
general
Biden.
election.
And what we're seeing so far in these states with such close races is that not only is the country divided, but many of these key battleground states are divided right down the middle.
I hate when they call it the
No question about that,
presidential
Martha
election
Raddatz.
because
COVID is something that came up
it's not all about that. It's
in
all
all your
about the down
travels
ballot
across the country.
propositions. We got a bunch of
sure
things on the
did, Jim,
ballot
but I have to say that
the
I was
president or
surprised
any
when I
president
crossed
that
the
you
country,
want or do not want
and it was
can't
almost
control.
like people
So
are done
let's make
with
sure
it.
that's out there.
It was very blue state,
sorry.
red state.
Babe.
They were wearing masks.
No, thank you for
in
clearing
blue
that up.
states. They
Yeah,
were not
absolutely,
wearing
man, because
masks
it's very
and
important.
masks.
I'm more,
red
you know,
states.
I'm looking
So
at the
people
local
would
news as
talk
opposed.
about
I mean,
it,
I got
but
CNN on,
in
but I'm
so
looking at the
many
local
ways, there are
news
so
just
many bigger
as I'm looking
issues,
at the
especially to the Trump
the
voters.
mainstream media
remember,
news
we have to
because
remember,
these down ballots
they're voting for
are
an incumbent now.
important,
In
especially in my
2016, it was,
you know?
we don't want to
I live
vote
in
for a
Compton, so
Washington
there's
guy. He's
a lot of
something
stuff
new.
going
He's
on
a
over here, man.
businessman.
There's a lot of stuff
But
going on.
they're
A lot of
voting on
changes,
his
and,
record
you know,
now.
we
And
need
that
to,
record is
as a matter of fact,
COVID. That
somebody I
record
know
is the
that
economy. That
asked
record
us, "Are you
is
voting? Look, when is the
immigration
election?"
and
I was like,
race
"Carry
relations.
on."
So they've made a
I'm
decision, those
like,
Trump
"Carry
voters,
on, man.
that
I don't
they
even wanna talk
like what Donald Trump has
Like
done
you're
in
like
these
you're
last
moving
4
on. You're
years.
moving on.
But anyway, Allie, why don't you
Trump voters I have
announce what we
talked
have on the
to
show today?
and said things
Okay,
about
so we
COVID.
have
One-
some good friends of
one voter
mine.
in Texas
So
who's
we
a
have
very
Sean
strong
Connor,
supporter,
and he also has
had
a show on Protest Party, so you guys have seen him before. You know his face. And then we have Kristen Brock Jonas, who is my girl, and she is literally like, when I tell you, this woman right here, she's not a girl. This woman right here is about it, and she helps me get my opinions in more of an adult format. So I love it. Okay, but I want to talk about it because she said something last show that I really want to touch on. So we were talking about COVID, and she was speaking about like fat phobia and like things like this, and how the world is working and changing, and how all the white supremacists are really
Martha,
coming
thanks.
forward
Heidi
again.
Heitkamp, you certainly see that in the Dakotas.
Just out in the street, not like it's Halloween.
Well,
I
think
it's everyday life, and we're seeing these people out in the streets, and even in California, which you've never seen before. But when you were talking about fat phobia, because as a person who's a plus size woman, I definitely can relate. So when if your fears about leaving the house, because you've been in quarantine, very strict quarantine, you only leave for really necessities or just some small self-care activities. But your fear about leaving the house, even now as things are starting to open up, if you were to catch COVID, in your opinion, how do you think that'll look for you?
Well, personally,
that was the point, Christmas.
Don't want to change their lives. They don't think that changing their lives will change the outcome.
I am a big girl. My husband is a big man, and I have been a big girl pretty much my entire life.
Expected voting in the state of
I have had to fight with the medical
Donald Trump
industry
now
pretty
appears
much
to
my
be pulling
entire
away
life to get the
53 to
care that I
45
need.
in that
And
state.
I fall
Chris Christie, that's what you were
within
hearing
a white
from the
demographic,
state
so
about
I
an
have
hour
a
ago.
lot of access. But as far as
They
being
said
a
that
plus
as
size
this
woman, I
progressed
still
in the
have had
evening,
to deal
he was
with
going to
a lot
open
of
up
doctors.
a more
You
substantial
go in
lead.
because your hand hurts, they tell you
In
to lose
Georgia, we're
weight.
hearing
You
the
go
same
in
thing
because
in
your
North
fucking foot hurts, they
Carolina,
tell you to
that
lose
both
weight.
Tom
Your eye
Tillis
hurts,
is now
to
leading by
lose
more
weight.
than a
It
point
always
over
stems
Cal
back to lose
Cunningham,
weight
and the president is
because
leading
you
by
need to
just
be
less
worthy
than a
of saving.
point
And as a fat person, you
over
are not
Joe
worthy
Biden
of
in North
saving. And then
Carolina, and that's been
you
a
add all the
steady
other
progression
demographics on
through
top
the
of it, and it
evening
becomes
to
even more complex.
chip away at that. And
I
they
have
feel
had the
very
ability
confident
to
North
stay
Carolina again
home, so
that both
I
those are going to
have.
go. That the way
I
Ohio's
also
gone
fear
here for
getting
Trump
my husband sick because
and for
he's also
Tillis
a big
in the
man, and we
Senate.
have pre-existing
Let's pull up another
conditions
look at
on
North
top
Carolina
of it.
right now. If we can pull up the North
And
Carolina
we've
map,
already
we've
had
got
to start navigating the healthcare. My husband
95% of the
has
expected
is a
vote
big
in
man,
North
has been a big
Carolina.
man
Very
most of
close
his
race
life, and
right
has
now. Only
really
about
shied away from going to the doctor
80,000,
because every time he
70,000
does,
votes
they tell him
separating
lose
Donald
weight
Trump
and then
and
come
Joe
back,
Biden. Tom,
and
what
we
can
will
look
treat
at
whatever
where the
ailment you
outstanding
have
vote
going
still
on.
is?
Okay, so let's look at the
And
major
so that
counties
really
here,
can
because
deter
that's
you
what
from
Joe
wanting to go to
Biden
the
needs
fucking
to
doctor
win. If
because
he
every
wants to
time you
pull
go,
off
they
an
just tell you
upset
you're
here, we're
fucking
looking at
fat.
Mecklenburg
You need to
the
lose
biggest
the
county.
weight,
This
and then
is
you can come
the
back
Charlotte
and
area.
they'll help you.
Right now, Joe
And
Biden
so
overperforming. He's 3
it's
points
just
higher
been
from
it's
where
just been a
Hillary
nightmare
Clinton
trying to
was
navigate the
just 4
healthcare
years
system.
ago. Donald
And,
Trump slightly down in
yeah,
Mecklenburg, but
so
that's
we have not
95%
left the
of the
house.
vote in. Not
My
a whole lot
husband's
more
had a
votes gonna
really
come out
bad
of there.
sciatic nerve
Wake County,
issue,
the
which
same story. Look,
they
Joe
blame on
Biden
his
is
weight.
doing well. He's improved
And
in
we
these
basically
cities
had to
around
like
states like North
rehabilitate him at
Carolina.
home
Let me look at
because
one more
the
area real
doctors
quick
weren't
right
doing
here.
anything for
This is Guilford County. This is a county that the Trump campaign thought maybe they could improve on. It's pretty much the same of where it was 4 years ago. But
No, I was saying,
George,
D, what
as
were
I
you
look
gonna
at
say
this
about
map,
that?
it's pretty much the same. Joe Biden is running up the score
first
in
of
the
all, I'm
cities,
sorry.
but around the rural
Especially about
counties,
your
even some of the
pre-existing
swing
conditions.
counties that he
My
took
mom
from Democrats 4 years
and
ago,
my
he's on
sister
top and he's still winning. These counties
heavy
down
women,
here on the
you
border
know.
with South Carolina,
And
Robson, this is one that we were taking a close look at.
I
He's actually doing
personally-
much better
I mean,
there.
I'm
So
a
in the
little bit
rural
older.
areas,
I'm
it looks
from the
like
era where
the Trump team has been able to drive out their voters.
that really
Okay,
wasn't
Tom
a thing.
Yamas, thank you very
You know what
much.
I'm saying? It really
We're going to take
wasn't
another quick break. We have a long
really
night.
talked about it up until maybe 15, 20 years ago, where fitness seems to take precedent over everything. You know what I'm saying? Every time you look on television, there is something fitness. Every time you turn around, you know, they're selling you something to lose weight, even on television. I mean, and the thing about it is, like, they'll, on one hand, they'll tell you lose weight, then on the other hand, there's a Burger King commercial coming up. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And you know, like, I stream a lot. You know, I stream a lot. And I watch a lot of Canadian television. And when I say Canadian television, like, they stream sport. I'm a big sports guy. So they stream a lot of sports on this Canadian stream that I watch called TSN. And I noticed that all the advertisement are totally different. I mean, it's not conflicting. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, it's straight straight health. You know what I'm saying? And you know, once in a while you may get a McDonald's commercial, whatever. But you know, it's the message that we send out is straight conflicting. You know what I'm saying? They tell you to be free. And then at the same time, they telling you, well, you can't do this because of this. You know what I'm saying? And and I remember when I remember back to school night when we were in school. A lot of kids never told their parents when back to school night was, because a lot of them had obese parents and didn't want their mom coming to.
You don't want big mama coming to. You don't want big mama coming.
Right, so they could be talked about. You know what I'm saying? And that was the thing. I love my mom to death, and I wasn't a big person, coming up. It didn't bother me, but I knew that because I had a lot of friends that had a lot of obese parents that never wanted to tell their parents to come to back to school night because they were so afraid that the following day that they was going to get talked about.
At the lunch table, bro.
Oh man. Yeah. Oh well. See, I rode the school bus, and that was about an hour ride, and it was bad. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not gonna lie. You know what I'm saying? I was one of the guys on the back of the bus, but I didn't. I didn't go there. But I didn't go there with people's moms being big because my mom was big, and I don't talk about big women. I always say, anytime somebody bring it, I say, look, my mom was a big lady. You know what I'm saying? So you rarely hear me call anybody.
You don't really talk about people in general, actually. You have to have an experience with them, because he won't even, I said, call somebody ugly one time. He bothered me and was like, you don't say ugly.
Yeah, it's not nice to call people ugly. It's not their fault they came out ugly.
No, but
even though
they have an ugly spirit, you can have an ugly soul.
You can have an ugly spirit.
I want to say one quick thing to Kristen. Please tell your husband it's cool to go to the hospital. Men hate going to the doctors. I don't know why we hate it. I do know why, because they be like, yo, we tough. They don't give a fuck about us. They can be like, get right or get gone. But please tell them it's cool to go to the doctors.
And so crazy. I got a boy who don't mess with nothing but big women.
Yeah, I love me a big boy, honey.
That is his thing.
That's his flavor. That's his flavor.
I get it.
That is his thing. Now,
you can be big, but we both can't have high blood pressure. So
okay,
you don't have to take a pick.
But you're so right.
Right, first one lose a foot is it, right?
Dwayne, the diet industry you're absolutely right. Health is a trend. It's always been a trend. So in the last 20 years, the diet industry is $1 billion industry. Yeah. And the only way $1 billion industry is going to fly is if you demonize being fat, which is what they've done.
They have.
You can be healthy at any motherfucking size. Your size has nothing to do with your health.
Yeah, you could if you turn on a football game every Sunday morning. There's a bunch of 300. There's a bunch of fat guys. There's a bunch of big guys out there.
I just have an update. Trump won Mississippi. Biden won California, Oregon, and Washington.
Of course.
And Lindsey Graham won the South Carolina Senate. Damn it, it's a red state. Oh.
Yeah. Well, you know what? The Democrats they put a lot of money into that. That candidate was actually really good. He was a clerk for Clyburn, the Democratic rep for South Carolina. I believe in 4 years from now he'll win that seat. He was new, came on the scene. He was a very good candidate. Democrats poured a lot of money in South Carolina to get him elected. I think that they probably should have put their resources somewhere else because
I seen that today. They said almost 100 million.
Yeah, it's like it's like them spending money in Kentucky to try to get McConnell out of there. Some of those deep red states, you really wasting your time spending money on trying to take out the incumbent. You really gotta wait for Lindsey Graham and McConnell to die. You know what I'm saying? That's the only way you're going. Yeah, that's why that's how I thought the whole Trump thing was going to end. When he got COVID, I was like, wouldn't it just be off the hook if he just died? That shit would have just been dope. You know what I'm saying? It would have
really would have.
He would have been a martyr. Been like, he talked all this shit. He got COVID and fucking died.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? But unfortunately, he might pull.
Kristen and I were talking about this. We said I don't think he really caught it because he was up walking around. I was like, either they gave him a super drug, they did some sorcery. some magic. I don't know what little rain dance on this man to get him right.
Or he could have been avoiding that second debate. You know, that was my thing. I thought he was avoiding the second debate because he performed so badly on the first one. Yeah. I just thought maybe. But you know what? I remember when my son was in college and when Trump was running 4 years ago, and you know, and I was telling him, "No, Hillary got this thing," and he was like, you know, he graduated Jackson State, and he was like, "Dad, I don't think you believe the love that Black people have for Trump down here, because because you know what? If you talk to an old Black man, they're the most racist people around. An old Black man, you know what I'm saying? And the minute Trump was saying the Mexicans and all these immigrants are coming over here to take our jobs, that is Black folks' cry.
Yeah.
Are Mexicans and immigrants taking their job, them posting up liquor stores on the corner. You know what I'm saying? And then when he's like, "Give me a shot, what do you have to lose?" That resonated with Black folks, because you have to think, here in California, and I'm just speaking, this is a very liberal state. Here in California, if you really want a job, you can go get one. You know, we can go to Home Depot, we can go to Walmart.
We're personality based, you don't need a degree.
Right, yeah, right. But I'm just saying, just talk about it, just a job. You know what I'm saying? If you want a job, yeah, you can really get one if you really wanted one. You know what I'm saying? It may not be the job you want, but you can get a job. But you go to those Midwest, Southern states, it is not that simple. It is, you just can't wake up, you know, I'm gonna go get a job real quick down here at Walmart and knock this out for a couple months. That doesn't apply down south. And so when these politicians talk, and that's why we pick and that's why the Southern states, that's where the elections are won and lost. You know what I'm saying? So that's where they won and lost. They won, you know, and that the blue wall that they're talking about, which is Michigan, Wisconsin, Ohio, Pennsylvania. I work with I'm a private contractor, but I work with someone, and this is before COVID hit, and this is when Trump was going through the impeachment, and he was, and I was telling.
You mean his little spanking?
Yeah, I mean, it was in the, it was, I mean, you know what, let's just keep it real. It was partisan, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of, you know what, you have to think, Congress, it's all about payback. When they impeached Clinton, this is payback for them impeaching Nixon. You know what I'm saying? And impeaching Donald Trump, this is just a payback from them impeaching Clinton. You know what I'm saying? It's all payback. And so when you get the next Democrat president in office, and it's coming, it may not be this year, but maybe 4 to 8 years from now, he's going to do something and they're going to try to impeach him as well. This is all payback. You know what I'm saying?
So you're saying it's a circle?
All you got to do is just go back and look. You know, political science was one of my majors in college, so, you know, I can speak in depth about this. That's what it's all about. And I
got questions because I can tell you educated, but I don't want to cut you off.
But check this out. But so anyway, and I tell you, so, you know, we ride in the truck. He's a Trump supporter. I played golf Monday with 3 Trump supporters. One of them asked me who did I voted for, and I told him I wrote in Kanye West. I was like, you know what? I'd rather take black crazy than white crazy. You know what I'm saying? And that was my answer to him, because I didn't want to get into, you know, because religion.
Are you joking, or did you really vote for Kanye?
No, I voted Biden. I mean, but I voted Biden. But again, I was more interested in the down ballots, because we're a liberal state. This state would never vote for a Democrat ever again. Last time we voted for a Republican was when Reagan was running, and that was back in 88, when he won 49 out of the 50 states. Last time. And it'll never happen again. California can actually emancipate from all the other states. I believe it's just only one thing we don't make, and I'm not sure. We have our own water, grow our own fruit, we manufacture our own cars.
Do we really have our own water though? Because my lawn begs the question.
No, our water comes from up. We get from Colorado. We got the Colorado. We get it from up north, but we can actually emancipate us in Texas. Probably can emancipate ourselves from the state. Republicans only come here to raise money. They know they'll never get our vote. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we're one of the only 50 states that was able to afford the $600 a week that we get without getting it from the federal government.
It was 3. It wasn't 6. I know 6 sounds great, but it was 3. Okay.
Right, but look, what other state did that?
You're right. I mean, I'm telling you,
we're rich, bitch.
We got our own ports.
Yeah,
we got our own.
We're rich. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, so like I was saying, so when Trump speaks immigration and people coming over and taking our jobs, that shit resonate with those people down south. And when all you have to do is get on social media. When them, hate to say it, when them Negroes got their $1,200, they lost their mind. You know what I'm saying? They was dancing. And one dude pulled his gun. I was like, anybody talk about my president, I'll kill you. You know what I'm saying? We still have a long way to go. And you know what?
But he said he was going to give us a stimulus if he gets elected. So I mean, let's see if happens.
And there you are. You see, you make me mad talking that shit. You
know, I'm saying he said that. That's what he said. Those were his words.
Allie, you are spreading hate right now.
I vote Democrat but root for the Republicans because they know how to handle money. You know what I'm saying?
They know how to handle money, but I mean, like, it's not like it really gets funneled back into it. It's not like it gets funneled back into the community. It gets funneled into galas and events.
But see, and that's why
museums.
Local elections are just as important as general elections.
Well, who's your congressman? Do you know?
No, I don't. 2 years from now, I just moved to Compton. So actually, this is a guy named, our mayor, Compton's mayor, what's the female's name?
Shit, let me look at my congressman right now. Okay, you asked me that question back.
Yeah. But anyway, I went over here to Marcus Garvey Elementary to listen to these guys speak. So I voted for a guy named Johnson. So, you know.
Oh, but Karen Bass. I'm 37 district. Karen Bass.
Okay.
Karen Bassett. So these guys not going to help. You know what I'm saying? And Donald got this. He got this.
He's winning? You think he's going to win?
Yeah, he's going to win.
Kristen, what's your view?
Huh?
Kristen, what's your view?
Oh God. You know, I am not a fan of capitalism. I will tell you that. And I think Donald Trump is great for capitalism. Abso-fucking-lutely. Like, yes, I think he's great for capitalism, but I don't know. I am just a fan of evolution and, evolving our language and the way that we look at each other and the way that we relate to each other. And I don't think Donald Trump is good for any of that.
Well, okay, here we go. Okay. See, I personally, I'm considered myself as an independent. I don't affiliate with any party. I vote on issues. Now, you said you're not a capitalist. Okay, fine. I am. See, when they say, the Democrats believe in trickle down economics or whatever, that's where
shit doesn't work.
You cut taxes and give all the money to all the poor people so they can work their way up. I don't believe in that because let me tell you something. I'm an electrician, right? When Donald Trump came in and gave his tax cuts, so many people wanted to build so much shit. I got a gang of work. You know what I'm saying? Even though it was stupid, they want to put a jacuzzi on top of a roof. Hey, that's fine because they're gonna need somebody to come in there and do that. But see, when you raise taxes on the rich, they don't spend money. Jobs don't get created that way. No matter what. I don't care what anybody says, because I tell you what, if I owned a business, and I told Allie this before, we was talking about big business. If I owned a store and you raise my taxes, how can I hire more people? But if you give me a tax cut, I'm able to expand and I'm able to hire more people. Mm-hmm. That's the difference between the two parties. You know what I'm saying? And
I think we need to find more middle ground. Bottom line, no. I don't think it's all left or all right.
My congresswoman is that Scientologist. Oh my God. Damn, sorry. What? I said my congresswoman is that damn Scientologist. And she was actually one of Biden's picks for VP. That bitch was over there at the Scientology meetings. Didn't you not see Leah Remini's Scientology in the aftermath? Okay, go on, Kristen. Oh my God.
No, I think we need to find more middle ground. I don't think there's anything wrong with being rich, but I think there is a limit. And I think that no matter who you fucking are, we should all have access to healthcare, employment, education, housing, food, mental health care. I don't give a fuck who you are. And I don't give a fuck what you have done or what you have not done in your life. I believe that you deserve access. Now,
I agree.
if you want more, right? If you want more out of your life, if you want more money, if you want more opportunities, then you have to go work for that. You have to go do something for that. You have to go to school, or you have to get a job, or you have to invest in your community. You got to do something.
Okay, now
Or you're not going to get more. But I do believe that we all as humans deserve access, but that's not possible because we have rich people in this world, 1%, who hoard the money and the resources. And that is problematic to me as a human and as someone who is thoroughly invested in humanity. And I mean that, like from my guts, I mean that. And I just think there needs to be more middle ground. And I think we really need to start breaking down the way that we think and the way that we look at this shit, because it is problematic and it only serves one kind of person. And I just think that we could all benefit, and there could be rich people. We could all benefit, we could all have access, and there could still be rich people. And I don't believe that's a utopia. I believe that's evolution. And I believe that we are in root of that.
I totally agree. I'm partial socialist. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with being a socialist. No, let's bring this back to sports. You have like NBA teams, right? You got NBA teams where at one point there was no such thing as revenue sharing, which meant that only particular teams were able to afford the better players. Once revenue sharing became socialism, revenue sharing became a part of the sport, all teams had the ability to sign any type of player because they all had the same kind of money, same type of money, which made the league better. That's the same thing you're saying. You know what? We need to spread the wealth. I totally agree with that.
Specifically to our BIPOC LGBTQIA plus communities, because they've got the short motherfucking end of this stick in this country for over 400 goddamn years. And when are we going to make amends for that? When are we going to make financial amends for that? And I'm talking about white people, and I'm talking about people who have fucking access. That is who I am talking about.
And we have the ability to do it because once, because at first the talk was, well, the country would go bankrupt if we were to give, like, say, quote unquote, reparations to black folks. But once the pandemic hit and all the big boys at the top lost all their money, they did not have a problem cutting a $2 trillion check to give out to their big boys. And right then it was like, wait, we can give reparations now. You know what?
That part.
American is the only place where our money spends everywhere. Our money spends everywhere, and it's not the reverse. You cannot take Euro dollars and come over here and spend it, but you can take an American dollar and go to all four corners, if the world was flat, all four corners of this world, and you can spend it. That's why we're the richest country on earth, and that's why there should not be one homeless person under any freeway sleeping under any tent, because we can afford not to make that happen. I totally agree. I totally agree.
That's right.
I totally agree.
Thank you.
Mr. Sean, you had a question.
I do. For Kristen and as well as you, D, what you guys are speaking about, I 100% agree with. And some of these ideas, if they work perfectly, they kind of sound a little bit visionary. And I'm saying, like, in a perfect world, do you guys feel like it would work better without hierarchy or caste or a class system? Or is that class system in place why it has a chance to work? Like, does there being rich people and poor people, is there a balance in that, or is there an unbalance in that? I don't know if my question is clear.
No, I think I can answer part of it. I can answer part of it. I do believe it should be in terms of education, not on money. because we do need smart people to make great decisions. You know what I'm saying? Now, just because you got a lot of money.
Well, I think that's trickle down. I think that if you get the best education, you're going to have the best money.
Well, see, there it is. But see, look, and that's not necessarily true because you got a lot of rich, dumb people.
That part.
You know what I'm saying? And you got a lot of rich people in jail for doing a lot of dumb shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's why I was saying it's really based on education, because we do need smart people to make decisions for us or to create the platform for us to go upon. And that's why, you know, I give more respect to people that got smarts than they got money. You know, because most people that got money, because money doesn't do anything but amplify your personality. You know what I'm saying? And that's why, you know, and you know, you have rich, good people out there, and you have rich assholes out there. So no, I don't. I mean, and anarchy should be created, but based upon education and ideas and not money.
Okay.
That's all I gotta say about that. Yeah. Andrew, what you want to say about it?
I like that. I very much like that.
You mean Sean? Mm-hmm.
Sean, okay. I see.
No,
Andrew.
my name says Andrew on there. That's my husband's name. I'm using.
Oh, that's right. Well, you know what?
I just haven't changed.
You know what? I don't mind a man having his name at the top of the check. Shit. Shit. I mean, hey, you know, that's what's up.
Moving on. So, Janelle, because you know I really tune out when you start talking about sports. I just go.
Well, no, I wasn't talking about sports. That was
the analogy.
I was drawing a contrast about socialism.
I know, and then
how
my mind just went blank. So you know, I really be trying to follow. You know, I've actually been trying to train myself to get into more sports so we can have conversations. I have. You know, I think I have a Lakers jersey around here somewhere. You know, hidden somewhere. I don't know where it is.
And I'm sure it's cut down. I'm sure it's cut down to the center of your cleavage to turn into some type of
Just because
somehow you sexualize everything you're involved in.
You know what? No, don't start with me, because Joe sent me a very long text message about my lingerie line, which led to me going on a tirade on my Instagram this morning. So don't you even start with me, okay?
Well, all right. Well,
yeah.
All right.
Well, we support your lingerie line. We support it.
Yeah. Oh, you know I support it.
Over here trying to tell me to call my shit Alley Cat. God damn it. I know it was you. No, it's fuck 'em girl, and that's what it's gonna be. Okay, we got the tags and everything, and the LLC purchase and the trademark. We ain't going back.
Hey, you know what? And if you keep sticking it to people's faces, they gonna eventually buy it.
They gonna buy it. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally get it. There's nothing wrong with that.
But when he said somebody, you know, I was like, I only know one other person that knows you, so I know who it is. Anyway, but moving on. So guys, all right, now it's looking like, when I'm looking at the map right now, because I'm watching the live updates, right? And I'm watching, this is the live coverage, right? And this is on today. Now, it is showing a lot of red projections right now. I was wrong. That was a projected win. It said it's projection that Trump wins Mississippi and Biden wins California, but we already know that he's going to get California. Like,
yeah, we
I'd be really scared if he didn't.
The election is all about 4 states.
It's all about 4 states. So,
4 states.
You know,
Florida, Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin.
What time will we know by? We'll know by like what, 10 o'clock or something?
Maybe about 3 o'clock in the morning our time, because Wisconsin won't be finished counting until like about 5 o'clock in the morning Eastern time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like Milwaukee. You know, that's the large black counties like Milwaukee. You know, all those other little states. I mean, all those other little cities within that state. So. You know what? But and we're gonna have to learn how to live with it. It's almost like having a bad uncle coming over for Thanksgiving all the time. You know what I'm saying? It's just something you got to deal with. And you know what? I look at it like this. Trump has not personally affected my life. You know, other than being on my television and just causing nonsense. I mean, I just grew mentally tired of him. You know what I'm saying? I just grew mentally tired of him. I mean, it's like every day it was just something he was just doing. You know what I'm saying? It's just something we just wasn't used to. And he's all about publicity. And he doesn't know anything about politics. His party runs the whole politics. He doesn't know anything. It's the party. And, and being a president is nothing but being a secretary. You know, you sign whatever comes across your desk. You can talk all the shit you want, but at the end of the day, legislation has to be created by Congress. in the Senate, and you have to sign it, and it has to be implemented. He can talk what he wants. You know what I'm saying? And that's basically it.
I mean,
and you just got to deal with it. Another 4 years. Well, you know, it could be whatever. He can.
Like I told Kristen 2 hours ago, I said if it's going to be another 4 years, I need to know now. I need to know now and when my check is coming, and so I can just get my mind right, and I can just start. And it's coming. I think one thing people don't understand is that in this country is how many poor white people there are. You know what I'm saying? And there are a lot of poor white people, and so when they pass these bills and, you know, and all this, give all this money and put people on food stamps, we're just the recipient of it. But it's for the poor white folks. And that's exactly who it's for. They're hurting just as much as we are. So, you know, if they're hurting, you know what's going on with us. You know. Oh, is that the skunk dog? I don't like skunk anymore.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just know he got pissed on by a skunk.
Yeah, you know what's crazy? The groomer won't take him because he's such a Tasmanian devil. I'm trying to get him cut, and the groomer was like, what kind of dog is it? And I was like, oh, like a terrier mix. And he was like, what's his name? And we're like, Teddy. And then he was like, no, ma'am, no.
Oh, they had him before.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, like, he goes there he's been going there since birth. He's been going there for 6 years.
So this time they decided not to take him?
We trick him. We trick the groomer. He's like, oh, what kind of dogs? We're like, a little small dog. And then we're like, okay, we'll see. And we show up. He's like, it was Teddy. Why didn't you say that? And Teddy like really tries to bite the crap out of him. So, you know, it's, but yeah, so, you know, I mean,
come on. Aren't you, I'm just tired of old ass white men running for office.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, Jesus Christ. Come on.
Yes.
Really?
We already seen this movie.
Yeah, it's tiring. It's tiring. I don't know what
it really is. It really is. I don't know. I just want a Democrat in office to care about green energy. Can we get back to green energy? And
yeah, no, I'm with it.
I've always wanted to own my own ethanol gas station. So if we can get back to that, you know, I just wanted to harvest corn and turn it into gas and serve the world and make it a better place and smell less. I really did. My dad tried to beat that dream out of me. He was just like, do you know all the things you'd have to do? And I was like, you just sound really negative right now. Like, I know it's going to cost some money, but that's just, your negativity is not really working for me right now. I know there's science to it, but like, I don't care. Okay. Like, it's going to happen. So, all right, D. So we are close to not knowing anything right now. But let's, I mean, there really isn't. I'm looking at the stats here and it's just, it's really, okay. They're saying like there's 1 million electoral college votes, right? And so it doesn't matter who has the popular vote, obviously, because Hillary.
No, it's all about electoral. It's all about population.
How many people are in this electoral college and who is chosen to be in this college?
Well, I can't really explain the whole electoral college, but it's all based upon population. So like, you know, you have California that carries like 53 electoral votes and Michigan, not Michigan, but Florida carries 29.
So how many people that's in your state determines how many votes your state gets?
I don't know. I don't know how that, I don't.
Well, technically, like the electoral college is supposed to vote the way of the people. Because if we vote that we say we want this person and the electoral college goes a different way, I mean, because they have the right to, I guess, but they're supposed to go our way, then it just doesn't make sense. And I don't understand how we can tell FDR you can't run for a 4th term, but we can't tell the electoral college, like, you shouldn't exist anymore. Why can't we change things?
So just the popular vote?
Yeah.
You just want a popular vote?
Yeah, we wouldn't be going through this right now.
Yeah, that's true too. But
Kristen and I would have met for lunch
already. The electoral college was created to create some kind of equality, because if it was all about the popular vote, there would never be a Republican in the office. Last president that ran that won the popular vote was when Bush was running against John Kerry, the military guy who was ended up being like the Secretary of State for I think he was Secretary of State for Clinton's. I'm sorry, for Obama's first term. Like John Kerry, wasn't it first? I know. Wait a minute. It might have been his second. It might have been his second term. I think Hillary was the first, and then Kerry ended up being the second. John Kerry ended up being the second. Yeah, that guy. Yeah, I just know it was Kerry. But that was last time the Republicans won popular vote. So, you know, yeah, and I guess. Yeah, I guess for some kind of balance, you know, I guess that's why, you know, our three branches was created to create a balance. They never want this country to be ran by one party, you know, so. Yeah.
Well, it feels like they never wanted this country to be run by anybody other than cis white men.
Well.
Right? Because cis white men created all of it a very long time ago. So why not rewrite it? I mean, I understand obviously it's a complicated, multi-layered situation and we need a lot of leaders and a lot of people who want to write legislation for the people. But why, I mean, are you guys against like just rewriting the whole thing?
Rewrite the whole
it was never intended for anybody other than cis white men.
Oh no, I'm not against it at all. I definitely think it should be rewritten. I mean, I'm all about us having guns and stuff, and I think California should be an open carry state. That way we can have our guns at protests. I'm just saying, you know, but
well,
I just don't understand why there isn't more middle ground, and it feels very patriarchal for us to try to fit ourselves into these very specific boxes.
Yeah,
when we're complicated people.
I agree. I think the boxes are specific, but I think real life is the middle ground. I think how people really live is the middle ground. Like, especially with whatever you would think, like down low politicians, or even back with slave owners sleeping with their wenches or whatever. Like, the middle ground is there in real life, but with the boxes that you have to check are pretty black and white.
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
They are, but it's all created. It has all been created, right? Like, it didn't come from osmosis. Somebody wrote it down and said, this is now going to be a fucking rule that we're all going to follow, and everybody's going to co-sign the bullshit, okay? That's what it feels like. It feels like we've really normalized some things that are not normal. Like the police killing Black people. That is not normal, but we have normalized that. And that's very problematic. And so, but it all goes back to like all of these rules and these laws. And, you know, it was all created to keep people in line, specifically Black people, Indigenous people, people of color, women, LGBTQIA+. I mean, it's all meant to just control us.
It is.
I'm sorry. What is IA+?
Oh, please, Kristen. I knew you were gonna ask. Tell 'em.
LGBTQIA+. So it's lesbian, gay, bi, transgender, questioning, intersex, asexual, and then plus is the rest of the umbrella for all of the other folks who coexist under that community of people.
Like non-binary,
gender
pronouns are a thing.
I encourage, if you don't know a lot about it, to Google it, because I think it's really important information. And I think it's a part of evolution, is understanding that we're all different and why we're all different and how fucking fantastic it is that we're all different, you know? I mean, but again, I think this all comes with reimagining a new future, you know, a future where we are actually free, because we're not free right now. We've never been free. We've been under this illusion that perhaps maybe we're free, or some of us are free because other people aren't free. And that just does not fly with me. I don't want to live in that world. I can't accept that world.
You know what gets me is how people talk, the conspiracists like to talk about the death pods and things like that in Hawaii, that's just unfounded. But no one wants to talk about our modern day concentration camps and the families that are separated, and the people who are in jail. It is jail, basically jail, and who are, you know, in detention centers. detention centers, but it is jail. And because it's not a cakewalk, it's not a hotel, it's not like dorm rooms at college. It is like prison, and you are stuck there, and it's hard to, you have to pay to even call somebody, and you're stuck in there with no money and access to anything to even pay for anything. So it's like, how are we okay electing somebody who's okay with this? But then you're saying Kamala and Biden have death pods in Hawaii that has shown no proof. I don't get it.
That they have what?
Death pods.
Hawaii.
The only reason why I keep bringing this up because she keeps texting me like, bitch, there are death pods. And I'm like, when you show me an article from a reliable news source and not a blog, we can have a conversation.
Oh God, I'm not big on conspiracy.
No.
You know what I'm saying? I have a lot of friends that are.
What's one conspiracy, one American conspiracy, you guys, that you think is real? What's one that you think is real? Sean, let's go with you. You start first.
That I think is real?
Oh, that Martin Luther King was set up, because that was proven. And that's how Judge Joe Brown got famous, because he was the judge that had to decide it. But yeah, Martin Luther King was assassinated. That I don't even know if that's a conspiracy.
No, I thought he was assassinated.
I'm saying that he was set up by the government to be assassinated, not just that a crazy white person came and killed him.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And then Kristen, what's one conspiracy?
That we participated in 9/11.
Oh, I didn't think she was going there. Someone said Earth is flat. Shut up. All right.
Okay.
What about you?
Yeah, go to the edge and fall off.
Right?
That I believe in.
Yeah, one conspiracy that you think that it's true.
That could be true.
Yeah.
Maybe the Kennedy assassination.
What about it? Like, what's your?
That the FBI was working with the mob to have it done. I believe that could have happened, because if you look at the autopsy and if you just look at everything, I mean, the way his head went back, I find that impossible. How his head could have went back that direction from where quote where Levi Oswald was positioned. You know what I'm saying, to make that shot, and he has no history of being a sniper. That was just so well done.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying, that there is no way that it was one person that was behind that.
Oh.
I believe that it was just too well executed.
Gotcha. I totally get that. For that stuff, yeah. I mean, I definitely think Area 51 exists. Do I think aliens are there? No. But do I think some anomalies and some very interesting things that they don't want us to know are there? Yes. Do I think that magic exists? I hope so. I really do. Because a bitch loves witchcraft. It's all about your power of intent and manifestation, you know?
Yeah, that's deep. So deep. Yeah, but again, I'm not really big on conspiracy. I'm more on facts.
Exactly. You got to live in facts. You got to live in proof in black and white to a degree, you know, when it comes to a lot of this stuff. Let's just get a little update on the election, guys, and see where we are.
So far, just 1% of the vote is in, and Trump is leading in Nevada.
He is leading in Nevada.
I don't think that's going to hold up, because they haven't taken anybody from Clark County vote. All them Negroes there. So that's a huge county, and that's a lot of black folks.
Well, okay, something I want to ask you guys. Have you separated yourselves from anybody in your life that is voting against your beliefs? Has anyone
political beliefs?
Your political beliefs, yes.
No, not really, because again, I have a couple friends that are, you know, I work with a guy that's a big Trump supporter. You know, it's difficult because it's just difficult. You know what? The reason why it's difficult, because they talk about the other party like they crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, they talk about the Democrats like they crazy, but they sound crazy. You know what I'm saying? But then again, you know what I'm saying? the one, to get it, this thing about politics, I just think that, it's like religion, man. You should just be righteous. How about just being righteous? Just doing the right thing. Stop trying to hold people down. You know what I'm saying? That's what this shit is all about.
Don't focus on the difference. Just be good.
It's all about being righteous, man. You know what I'm saying? There shouldn't be a party, but unfortunately there is. A Democrat Party. Black folks were Republicans once upon a time because we believe in low taxes. We believe in security. We believe in love of country. We built this country. Most of us love this country. You know what I'm saying? So there's Republicans within everybody. We don't like to pay a lot. We don't like paying a lot of money in taxes. And one of the reasons why we, Democrats tell people to raise their taxes because a lot of Democrats are not within that 2%. That's why you got Lil Wayne and Lil Pump and Ice Cube and all these guys support Trump because it saves them money. That they love that tax cut. They love it. Rich folks love tax cuts. And then when you become rich, you will understand it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's almost like, especially when you know where your taxes are going, if you read the tax code and these rich folks don't want to give money to chimpanzee research. You know what I'm saying? That's what, a lot of tax money goes to a lot of crazy shit, which is needed. You know what I'm saying? Like it took somebody to pay somebody to realize that reason why we're getting paper straws is because straws kill sea turtles when they go out to the ocean. You know what I'm saying? It took somebody to pay somebody to do that study. You know what I'm saying? If you ask any other person who doesn't throw their straws in the ocean, wonder why we sucking on paper straws. You know what I'm saying? I hate paper straws.
Right.
I love chewing on straws. Even it may be bad for you, but I don't ever remember flushing my straw down the toilet or going to the beach and releasing it out to the ocean so it can kill sea turtles. Well, it took some research to have that done, and this is where our tax money goes. And this is what the Republicans be like, look, fuck them. You know what I'm saying? And that's why they come off as assholes. You know what I'm saying? Be like, because they understand taxes and they watch where their money go. If you don't make money and pay very little taxes, you can give a shit where your money go. A lot of black folks do not know where their tax money go. They don't. We don't know. I I haven't read all the entire tax law book, but I know where some of these taxes go. Now, some of the taxes, cancer research, all that stuff, that shit is needed. And that's where Sean, right?
Yes.
Okay. That's what he was like, should there be some kind of anarchy? Yeah, for smart people, but not just with assholes who has money, because asshole who has money don't give a shit about people who don't have money.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's almost like walking, it's almost like walking past a homeless person and not giving two shits about it. This is one of the reasons why, I love Michael Jordan as a basketball player, hate him as a person. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't give shit until the pressure is put on his ass and his reputation is on the line. You know what I'm saying? And that's how rich folks are.
Until sales all affected, he don't even give a damn.
Right. If it doesn't affect me, fuck him. You know what I'm saying? And we all have that in us. You know what I'm saying? We all can be better. All of us. There's no reason why that you should walk past any homeless person and not get, there are times, look, there are times where I walk into the store and somebody asks me for money, and it all depends on the day of the week it is. I probably could reach in my pocket and give them $1. Most of the time I don't. You know what I'm saying? But I can afford to give $1 because I blow money on other dumb shit, especially pre-pandemic when I was going to strip clubs. You know, I could do better. We all can do better. Every one of us. There's no reason why. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like the whole thing that's going on social media about this whole Birkin bag shit. Did you? I'm sure you know about it, Allie, because you're with the pop culture. I thought it was one of the,
how the Birkin bags. Honestly,
I thought it was one of the dumbest things to talk about.
I really don't care if their bags are fake or if they're real. I will say this, after working in the fashion district for 10 years, yes, there are a lot of counterfeits out there. Yes, there are a lot of fake bags, and we all go to the sales and we're like, oh my God, Maya has another room ready and she says she got the bags. We're going to get our Goyard bags. Okay. And they're not real, you know? Or sometimes they are because they fall off the right truck. But it's like, why do I care about that? Because that's not affecting me. Just because these women are showcasing their bags, and also they're showcasing a lifestyle, you know what I mean? And because of rappers and because of influencers, it's a consumer market. We want to buy things. We want to feel expensive. My niece got on a Sprinter bus for my little cousin's birthday, who is like 7. My cousin rented a Sprinter bus for her birthday just to take them all to Houston's. Literally just a goddamn steakhouse, whatever, right? And my niece is 16 and she comes to us and she's like, so for my birthday, I would like to go to Arrowhead. No, she didn't say Arrowhead. She's like, I like to go to Lake Tahoe and I want to rent a Sprinter bus. And I was like, what Instagram lifestyle you think you live in? And what family do you think you have that's paying for this for you to go to Tahoe? Because I went to Roscoe's for my 17th birthday and I was happy about it. I mean, I was mad that nobody paid the gratuity, but I was there, okay, because Roscoe's doesn't split checks. So, but I'm like, what lifestyle do you think you have? And I mean, it's the things that they're showcasing. Yes, do I think some things are unrealistic, but it's what about what you instill in your kids and what your values are, you know? I know I like nice wigs and I like nice hair, and I know how I like for myself to feel and how I like to change my appearance for myself. And I'm like, you're a whole new bitch today. Get it, girl, you know? And that's just me, and I'm all about the shock value fetish. So I love to shock people. I just feed off of that. That's just one of the things I like to do, but I'm not doing it to show things that I don't have. Like, I won't buy myself a designer bag when I know I drive a hoopty. There's just something weird about me getting out of my car with a Marc Jacobs bag and knowing my car looks beat up as hell. Like, it just being on the bus with a YSL bag, I've seen it. It doesn't, where are your priorities? You know, but am I going to judge you? I don't care what you do. It's your life. Spend your money on what you want to spend your money on, you know?
Well, D and Christian, I wanted to ask you this just to go off your point real quick. How you made about, you know, you do have the choice to be better. Do with us choosing who to vote for because of taxes, do we have that choice? Like, it's my choice to give that homeless person that $1 that day. If I'm a millionaire, it's my choice to give coats to the community or turkeys on Thanksgiving. Is it my choice to do charity when I am in that 1%, the same way it's my choice to give $1 to that homeless man?
Yeah, it's a choice. I mean, it's your choice. But, you know, I mean, everything you do is all about choices and decisions that you make. You know what I'm saying?
Is that my righteous duty, though, is what I'm asking?
Not always, no.
No, I mean, it's not a right. You know what I'm saying? It's your choice.
You can give when you can. If you have it to give, you can give it. I've given homeless people money and they were very, very unappreciative. But then it's like, where are you giving from? Are you giving from your heart? Or are you giving to get something back? Are you giving to get some sense of fulfillment from it? Because if you are, then you shouldn't get at all. If you're giving and you expect nothing in return, even a thank you. Like, I gave this man my entire meal untouched from Volcano because I was like, oh, he's on the street. And I was like, he's going to eat good tonight. And then he said, he looked at it and opened it.
That was nice.
Right. And he was like, shrimp? Really? And I was like, nigga, that's $20. I could have not given it. I was like, but your hands already touched it. I don't want it back now. Like, and I hadn't even eaten it, but I was like, you know what? I want to help someone. But then I had to realize it within myself that I wasn't giving from my heart because his reaction shouldn't have mattered to me. So, you know, it's like, if you have it to give, great. Because you know what? $1 here and there, $5 here and there, $10 here and there can help someone. Now, if it's the same chick that you done seen at the gas station for the last 2 months saying she and her daughter need a hotel room, now I'm gonna direct the bitch to a shelter, because at this point, this is a choice and you are not trying to make your life better for you and your child. Your pimp sitting over in the car while y'all doing this stuff. Like, I'm like, I'll go up to him like, don't give them money because they're scamming. I will really do that. You know what I mean? The window washers, I don't like it when you don't clean the window all the way. I'm not giving you any money to clean my window. If you just want to take the damn money, just don't even clean my window because it's blurry now and I'm about to crash my shit because you done clean my window. Whatever it's in that spray bottle, it's happened. Okay. So I'm just like, he's like, can I get your windows, baby? They're so dirty. They're so dirty. How you gonna drive? You just gonna make them smeared. Here, just take the money. Take the $5 bill. Leave me alone.
You know, let me tell you, speaking of that, I got so offended. I went to the store and came back out. There was a business card on my windshield, and in between the windshield and wiper and the windshield, we buy junk cars. I'm like, fuck you.
He's like, this my shit.
Fuck you. We buy junk cars. I'm like, well, oh, I'm looking around. I'm like, okay, who else got this? Who else got this shit on their damn on their windshield?
On their windshield, exactly.
Right. You know, I'm like, fuck you, motherfucker. This shit runs.
I mean, Kristen, do you feel like, I mean, you give a lot. So I know that Kristen really likes to, she's very philanthropic more than me. I've been philanthropic through her and I feel it. Okay. So she really gives. I will definitely say she is someone who, I'm putting you on blast, but how do you feel about it? Because you are a giver and you do give, and you give to certain organizations. She's very strategic and very organized with it and does her research. So if you're on the street and you see a homeless man, you have $1 in your pocket, do you feel the obligation to do it?
I don't necessarily feel the obligation, but I always feel the obligation to recognize someone's humanity. Like, that is for sure. If someone's in their mind, you know, if they're not traveling for whatever reason, because a lot of folks who are on the street are dealing with a lot of mental health issues and are using drugs to compensate for those mental health issues. And so on hot days, yes, if I'm going into a 7-Eleven, I will buy a bottle of water and a snack. You know, it's like little things like that, you know. I am always looking for young Black queer artists that I can do a monthly contribution to. There are different organizations that work in the LA area that are like working in the Skid Row area that I also contribute to, because like these are this is how I look at it. I was handed a bunch of shit from the pot that I did not earn. Therefore, it is not mine to keep. Okay. And I also feel like I should be giving as much as I am taking from this goddamn pot. So if I'm taking from the pot, I should be giving to the pot. And if I have things that I didn't earn that are not mine, I should be feeding that back into the community where it fucking belongs. Because that's where it always belonged. It's just people have to make conscious decisions to go and invest it in the community. And, you know, can I save anyone? No, I can't save anyone, but can I offer someone a bottle of water on a hot day? Yes. Can I offer someone $1 here and there? Yes. Can I buy someone a sleeping bag and a tent and some blankets and some towels? Yes, I can fucking do that. So I'm going to do that.
Thank you.
And the further I get along this path, I'm an artist and, you know, God willing, one day I will be able to make a steady living at being an artist. I want to pay that forward. I want to pay that back into the community because those are the things that I value, right? Like, do I want to be rich? Yes, but I want to be rich because I want to be able to give access to as many fucking people as possible. Not save people. I'm not saving anybody from anything. You know, folks got this, but people need opportunities and people need legs up and you know, that stuff doesn't come from nowhere. You have to contribute it to the community. And so that's how I feel about that. You give what you can when you can, you know, we're all smart cookies. We know what resources we have.
Exactly. And if you have it, you can give it. And, you know, I mean, I give my last $5 sometimes. I give my last $1.
Okay, well, you know what? You need to save your $5 and take me out to dinner one day because you've been promising me. But
I told you a hoe had money that one week. And I said, ooh, that came through. And I said, we're going to Gracias Madres. And then what did you do? You were about doing busy with your other hoes. The hoe was being a hoe. And we did not go to dinner. We did not go to dinner. So now we got to wait for these fucking girl checks to come through. And then I got you.
Well, have you know that the house has been quiet?
Oh.
No stripper glitter.
So for some of you guys, I'm not gonna get into stripper glitter, but stripper glitter is someone is a former friend of his, and she is my threshold for crazy. So when I feel like I'm being really crazy, like with any dude I'm talking to, I just call him and I'm like, okay, now
is this crazy?
Yeah, I'm like, is this crazy? Because stripper glitter is a psycho. They were having an argument. And she showed up on the golf course, walking across like, I'm gonna get you. Like he was like, they were like, yo, is that her? Right. So, you know, and the way that she got the name stripper glitter is, if you've seen the show, you guys know how she got the name stripper glitter, but stripper glitter is crazy and she is my idol. Okay. And so I just know if ever I'm on stripper glitter level, that means that I have lost my mind, but I'm not there yet. Okay. So moving on. Also,
I did get a text asking, have I come to my senses yet? Like, have you come to your senses? Like, are you ready to do this? I'm like, this shit's been like off the hook, being by myself and not have to worry about nobody coming and killing me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not changing the locks no more.
Your window's not being broken. Your tires not being
I know, man.
I'll never forget when I called him on Valentine's Day. I said, "What you doing?" He said to me, and I think I might just go get a place by myself. Just go get a little hotel room. That way, I just can stay away from her because if I don't take her out, it's gonna be hell.
What was so bad? Valentine's fell on a Saturday or something like that this year.
Yeah, and you were like, "Damn, I gotta spend the whole weekend with this."
I know, like I like it was on a weekday because you can get away with going to work, coming back, buy some flowers, go through a drive-through or whatever, get something to eat, call it a day. But this shit was on a Saturday. I was off, and I had to spend the whole day. But
exactly. Yeah. And I just have an update for you guys. So Trump won Ohio, and Biden wins Virginia. So
yeah, and I was saying earlier, this is over with. It's not necessarily over because I forgot the city. They don't count. Because Black folks vote late, minorities vote late, Hispanics vote because we work. The early ballots come in. And then the working people stuff come in later because we stand in line longer and all that kind of stuff. And and Trump was winning by a huge amount until they start counting those suburban cities. And so, don't leave out hope. Wisconsin and Michigan and Pennsylvania, they have not counted the suburban votes yet. So if even though I think Trump's going to win it, they still haven't. And you know what? And we may, and the Democrats could flip Arizona. If they flip Arizona, that's a different ball game. This election is going to go on to probably Friday. We're not going to know a winner until probably Friday because Pennsylvania has
No, we're gonna know tonight. What are you talking about? We knew last year tonight. We gonna know?
Huh?
We're gonna know.
No, we're not gonna know because Pennsylvania.
No, it's different this year. It's different this year.
Supreme Court just allowed the mail-in ballots that was mailed off today that may be received by Friday to be counted. And so
we'll have a general idea because a lot of people also did wait to vote.
No, we won't because not in the big swing state like Pennsylvania.
No, I'm talking about but the swing. So you're saying we won't have an idea?
No, because no one would have reached 270 electoral votes by then. So even though we lost Florida, and Florida's just Florida and Louisiana are, first of all, I don't think we should never purchase Louisiana. I think we should just let Louisiana just I don't understand that state. All those Black folks in Louisiana, and they can't even give that state a chance to be blue. You know what I'm saying? Don't understand. And and for those who want to, Texas hasn't been a blue state since I think Jimmy Carter was running back in 1976. But one of the reasons why it's turned into a blue state, when Hurricane Katrina hit Louisiana, all those people that lost their homes in Louisiana moved to Houston. So that's why now you hear Texas is a swing state now. And I just want you to know, it's just not that the state just turning blue, it's that all those suburban people came down from Louisiana, came down into Houston, Texas. And now that's why Texas is now a chance. And we all know why Atlanta and Georgia is about to be a blue state because it's the new Hollywood and a lot of people moving there. And taxes are driving people out of California. So that's one of the reasons why, the demographics on the electoral map is just changing a lot. So, but Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Arizona, and North Carolina are the 5 states that we're looking at. And so,
yes, and so hopefully when we come back next week, guys, we can.
We'll have
smiles on our faces because
and you know what? Let me tell you something. Even though the news media, they all, they all got their person that they all want to go for. Fox News made so much money when Obama was in office because they got a chance to talk about this guy so much, where all these racists watch. Because media is business, radio is business. This is business that we're doing. This is business. This is driven to make money. Even no matter what the platform is, radio and television is a business. And so when you have Fox News that has they made more money during the Obama administration because you got they get all the attention because they get a chance to talk about and ridicule this black guy for 8 years, and all the eyes are driven to this channel. And when you got eyes driven to a channel, that just fucking gives advertisers the opportunity to sell their ads and to be able to sell their ads to the people. So even though MSNBC and CNN are liberal channels, they don't get necessarily upset if Donald wins, because more people are going to watch and see why he won and what is he saying next, and that just give advertisers a chance to sell shit to you, and that's what it's all about. And so it's all business. It's all business. And so
all business.
It's all business.
Wow.
So hopefully by next week, hopefully by next week we'll be able to we'll know who our president is, and then let the shit begins.
Let it begin, and this is
and then we'll be looking to see who's going to be what young Democratic nominee we'll have for next year, because Kamala blew it. Kamala's not going to be able to do it. You know what I'm saying? So that is, you know what? It's just a matter of time.
Damn, man.
No, that's just, look, man, let me tell you something. America is sexist, then racist, in that order. Because look, I love the fact that we had our first black president. I'm glad I was alive to see it. But Hillary Clinton was the most qualified candidate in the history of politics. She should have been the first female president back in 2008. Okay, let's just call it what it is. She was the most qualified person. And America is so sexist that they took their chance on this brother that no one really knew about, and put him to the front of the party. Because I was a Hillary person. When Barack came onto the scene, I had no idea who this cat was. I do remember him speaking at the Democrat for when Bill Clinton got his accepted the nomination for the Democratic Party back in 94 or 93, 94. I think he ran 94 or 96 or something like that. Whatever. I'm getting the years mixed up. Barack spoke at that. But Hillary should have been the first female president. She should have been. She was much more qualified than Barack Obama. Now, again, I am glad that Barack Obama became president, because I was told when I was in school that I will never see a black president. I was glad that I was alive to see a black president. It gave my son hope, because I remember when my son was in college, he was saying, well, he wants to be the first black NFL commissioner. He wanted to be the first commissioner of NFL. And I was like, really? And then I had to think about it. I said, you know what? This dude has, he grew up seeing a black president. So, they can wish they can be whatever they want. It wasn't like I was coming up. I never thought that I could be president, ever. I've been told that, you know what I'm saying? I was told that I will never see one. Therefore, if I would never see one, I never could become one. Well, it's different for these kids now, especially black kids. And I hate when black folks say, well, what has Barack done for us? And you know what I say? Motherfucker, he won. How about that? He won. That's what he did for us. The hardest job in the world to get, he got it. That's what the fuck he did. He won. And that should be enough. Just because he didn't come and give you a stimulus check does not mean he didn't do shit for your black ass. The motherfucker, I don't want to call him a motherfucker, but he won. That's what he did for you. And sometimes hope is better than a gift. Okay? He inspired you for you to do whatever the freak you want to do. And that is good enough. And it drives me crazy when I hear black folks say, what did he do for us? You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's what I got to say about that. So
yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah. No, I totally hear you.
Party shots? You got any party shots, Allie?
What?
Party shots? Anything to say before we go?
Oh, you know, yeah. I mean,
he pulls out a glass.
All my tequila. Like Sean's over there, still got his. You know, I'm just like, I'm out. But
okay.
Right. Yeah.
Stays ready. He stays ready. But you know, honestly, I just say, hey.
I stay home. Look.
Ooh, stop flexing on us, D. Stop flexing.
I am hoe ready. Okay. I am hoe ready.
He stays so ready.
Okay, any hoe come over here, I'm ready. I am ready.
If you guys don't know, D and I mean, this kind of happened because, as you know, I call myself a hoe. I don't
smoke weed, but I can get it.
Yeah, he definitely can get it. You know? But D and I identify as hoes, and but I mean, I think he's the only real hoe here. But you know.
He's like, how you gonna put me out like that?
What I love about D is that literally I'll call him. He's like, hey ho, and I'm like, what's up, ho? What you doing? And we will literally greet each other like that. And it's just how we are.
And you know, I'm so upset because I thought I had a church boy image in front of her mom, and she had me on speakerphone last week. And I'm just talking shit, and she's like, oh my God, my mom's up here laughing at you. I'm like, yo, what?
Yeah, no.
I'm like, so my church boy reputation.
Mom knows about stripper glitter and
she knows it from you though.
Yeah, true.
She know, you know, it's not true until it comes out of the horse's mouth.
Okay, whatever. She ain't really tripping about it. I think she's more concerned about my wholeness. That's not really real.
Oh, okay.
So, but yeah, I mean, as always, it's been great, guys. I mean, we're covering the election, and we did that for hours now. Oh shit, Trump won Idaho. So there we go. All right, he won Idaho and Ohio. All right.
Idaho.
But it's been great having Sean on here in the outhouse with us, and Kristen, thank you so much.
I'm digging your background. Where are you? What's that? Is that a balcony behind you?
Oh
Okay,
yeah,
Sean?
yeah. It's
that's what's up.
I'm downtown with all the pandemonium.
Oh, okay.
I hear cop sirens outside right now.
Oh yeah, man.
You're in a high rise though.
I know. I've been trying.
It's a little something.
I fill out like 4 applications have not been accepted. I'm trying to get down there. I'm definitely trying to get down there. I love downtown.
Down there. Okay.
Yeah, I'm definitely trying to get down there. Yeah.
Yes. All right. Well, guys, it's been another great episode of The Outhouse.
Yeah.
And it was our U.S.
2020.
You know what? If I'd have heard you, I'd have tried to help you. What are you trying to say?
Well, you told me not to say presidential election.
General election.
Okay, thank you. I was like, what word is it that I'm going?
I'm sorry.
Like, someone fill in the blank. I'm pausing for a reason. Anyway, so this has been our 2020 general election coverage. Thank you so much for watching with us. We are here every Tuesday night, kind of not.
Okay, Biden is expected to speak.
You know, definitely don't forget to check out Sean's show. Sean, do you have a show on Protest Party?
Oh yes, every Saturday at from 7 to 9 we do politics as usual. It's just me, my uninformed ass, and my very informed political friend Jonathan Hollis, and we cover weekly protests, whatever's going on, and we're doing a special episode to cover the aftermath of tonight. We're going to be on tomorrow from 5 to 7. So if you're watching, please tune into that.
Yes, and Kristen does a show every Saturday, Crafts with Kristen. She is very
You're on protest?
So,
No, not okay. You ain't gotta whisper. No, okay, I thought.
No.
Okay.
We're gonna shout the shit out. It's on Facebook. So yeah, we want to thank her for being here because she is a content creator and
That's
she
right.
also has a TikTok. Okay, and it's called I Love Your Show, right? It's called I Love Your Show, right?
Yeah, I love. Well, it's Love Your Show 68. I'm on the TikTok.
Okay, love your. She's on the TikTok. Okay, Love Your Show 68. Don't forget to check us out next week for Allie's House Party Comedy Show at 8 p.m.
Oh, you're not up tomorrow?
Time.
Not tomorrow? No, not tomorrow.
No, we're every other week. I can't do this shit every week. I'll be stressed out. It's bi-weekly, okay? Sean, I might be calling you. Kristen, I might be calling you to fill in if somebody drop out. I'm tired of these comics.
That's right. That's right.
So, you know, we got it. Thank you so much to Protest Party for hosting us.
Protest Party. Thank you.
Yes, you have been in
And
the
you know what?
house.
And look, let me tell you something. And if Biden wins, remember I'll tell you it's a business. Protest TV grows because it's going to be more bullshit. It's going to be more protests. It's going to be more shit. And then, unfortunately, somebody got to carry it and somebody got to report it. And I'm glad to be a part of that.
Yeah, and we're here. And so we're here every Tuesday. Hopefully DJ Khaled is back from his sabbatical hiatus, whatever he's doing, and spin some music next time. And but this is D Marvelous. I'm Allie.
Yeah.
You've been in the outhouse, guys. See you next week.
See ya. Peace.
Election Night 2020 on ABC continues. Here again, George Stephanopoulos.
12:30 here in the East, and let's take a look at that map. 16 states won by Joe Biden, 205 electoral votes, 19 for Donald Trump, 136 electoral votes. We're calling it election night. We are going to be more honest with you in the coming hours and start calling it election week. As you've heard in the last several hours, we're going to take some time now to count Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan. We don't know how long that's going to take. A lot of early mail vote is out there yet to be counted. That's what it looks like right now in those three states. Only 53% of the expected vote in Michigan, 70% in Wisconsin, 61% in Pennsylvania. But there's a lot of counting left that we expect coming in at varying times, starting in the next several hours, but could spread out over the next several days. So, of course, we're going to keep an eye on those three states. But right now, we want to take a look also at the state of Arizona. The state of Arizona right now, you've got about 76% now of the expected vote, and it's creeping up slowly. Right now, Joe Biden is leading 54 to 45. So, Tom Llamas, not a lot of new information coming in just yet, but a bit.
No, but a big number here. George, 4 years ago, President Trump wins Arizona by 100,000 votes. Tonight, right now, with 76% of the vote in, he's behind by 200,000. The big story is Maricopa County. This has the city of Phoenix, city of Scottsdale, 54 to 44. He's up by 10 points, overperforming from Hillary Clinton here. The biggest county. You know, Democrats thought Arizona was in play for several reasons, one of them being President Trump underperformed from Mitt Romney, but also the changing demographics. You have a lot of Californians coming in, also a growing Latino population as well. In places like Yuma County, if we see where the race stands right now, President Trump doing pretty well there. They have large agricultural families that are more conservative, so he's overperforming in that area. But when we go to Tucson, Pima County, this is the Democratic stronghold. Joe Biden exactly where he needs to be, overperforming and driving up the vote there.
And John Carl, let's talk a little bit more about the importance of Arizona. The reason Arizona is so important, If Joe Biden is able to flip the state of Arizona, it's not enough for Donald Trump to win the state of Pennsylvania or win the state of Michigan. He's got to find something else.
He needs Pennsylvania or Michigan plus. He could win Pennsylvania and Wisconsin. He could win Michigan and Wisconsin, but it's not going to be
Nevada's still hanging out there in some way.
Nevada, I mean, they count so slowly. We just have no idea what's happening in Nevada, but possibly. But really what they were going to need is Nevada plus New Hampshire they were targeting, and New Hampshire we've called for Joe Biden. So really what it would mean is that he's going to have to win, that Donald Trump would have to win 2 of those 3 blue wall states.
Rahm Emanuel, the Joe Biden campaign, did they think it would be coming down? And it's not down to it yet because we still have had so much vote out there in the blue wall to the state of Arizona.
No, I mean, they went there and they thought they had a shot there because of the trend lines you could see. And you have a lot of people not from California, from Illinois, other states that have moved in there. I will say one other thing. If this flips, you've cautioned me to be more careful about it. This is the final revenge of John McCain. This is the guy that he wanted to flip on the ACA. He said he was not going to do it. And you have Cindy McCain, also Jeff Flake, the former senator. So you have and he was up 100,000. He's down 200,000 right now. I know we're not allowed to call it, but those trend lines do not look good for him. And Arizona, to be honest, was kind of trending polling-wise where North Carolina and Georgia were. And this has gone better than expected, given the spread is now 10 points when they were talking about a 2-point race.
Chris Christie, when you talk to your sources in the White House, your allies in the White House, what are they saying first about Arizona, and what's their plan B if they lose it?
Well, they're still fighting on Arizona, and they still believe they have a chance in Arizona when all the votes are counted. But they're very optimistic about Wisconsin. And I've also spoken to Wisconsin Republican leadership who are saying, given the vote that is out in Wisconsin and the results as they stand now, they feel very confident about Wisconsin. So the approach is going to be Pennsylvania plus Wisconsin. They're also not giving up on Michigan yet. And I think one of the things we're missing tonight, I know a few people have said this around the table a bit tonight, but I want to really emphasize it. The Biden people thought they were going to have to beat 2016 Donald Trump. And what they're now realizing tonight is he has grown his base. He has found voters that didn't vote in 2016 that are now voting for him in 2020. And I will tell you, the last rally that he had in North Carolina, the campaign told me that 20% of the people at that rally did not vote in 2016 at all. And if you go to a rally and stand 5 or 6 hours and wait to see the president, you're voting for him. So I think that's the thing, the Biden campaign, if it goes against Biden, they have grown their numbers above where Hillary was, but they haven't, maybe if they lose, they haven't grown them enough to beat the 2020 Donald Trump.
Deja vu for Democrats, Yvette?
You know, I want to reflect really quickly on what the governor said about 2016. I've been thinking about this a little bit, and I'm curious about whether the issue of race is the reason why Donald Trump is actually picking up new folks and holding folks. I would love to see any exit polling around, you know, certain areas where there's been a lot of racial resentment, where the law and order message is playing really, really solid there. And I'm curious about whether that is the key, whether or not we lost.
Both ways, doesn't it?
Well, I mean, it depends. Was our message stronger? Was it better, or was his message stronger or better? Are his folks now more motivated? We've actually seen his folks be way more animated, way more out there when we think about what we expected to happen today as it relates to polling locations, when we think about the stand by, stand back, and stand by. I'm curious about the role that race is playing and the fact that we're not seeing the type of change that we expected to see, particularly after 2018 Trump hours.
One of the things we've seen is the Republicans were touting before Election Day the places where they had seen increases in registration.
Yeah, I mean, look, campaigns matter. And one of the things that we might find after this is all said and done is Donald Trump never shut his campaign down. They registered, 100,000 net more in Florida, 80,000 net more in Pennsylvania, 40,000 net more in North Carolina. In these close races, that is going to make a very big difference.
To pick up on what Yvette says, and this is going to require more data, so I don't want to jump. But if you went up and pulled up Kenosha, Wisconsin today, and just pull it up versus Hillary.
Right.
And obviously, I don't want to tell the cameraman, but look at the difference. 60 versus 37 versus 47.
Again,
47.
before we don't know if they've counted the early vote yet.
I said there's a.
We're told they have not counted the mail-in vote yet.
Okay, so we don't know right now, but there's going to be a place that there's a lot of currents in this water. There's not a single current.
Well, I don't want to bring Lindsay
That's not just COVID. There's economy, there's race, there's crime. There's a lot of things we're going to have to unpack here.
I want to bring Lindsay Davis in on that because that was a big part of the dialogue in the summer, from the killing of George Floyd on Memorial Day through the summer. It seemed to fade as we got into September and as COVID was surging, but perhaps it had some stickiness.
You know, I think that there's a lot. I think there was a conversation that happened during the break that I think that is worthy of discussion, in that if it does bear out that black voters haven't really turned out, I don't think we can conflate the two and say that that means that black voters are voting for Donald Trump, because I don't know many people who were really bowled over by his platinum plan. I mean, President Trump had said in that now infamous speech in Michigan in August of 2016, when he talked to black voters, he was targeting them and said, well, what else do you have to lose, you know, in order to vote for him? And he promised, he said, look, if I win, this was 2016, he said, if I win in 2016 and if I, you know, in 2020, I'm going to get 95% of the black vote. I promise you. You know, at the time in 2016, I believe that he got about 8% of the black vote. Now it seems that he's polling at about 10%. You know, I think that there's a lot of data. I would agree with Ram and Yvette that still needs to bear out, but if it ends up being that race is on the ballot, I think that it also could, as you said, it could cut both ways, that you have a black woman, woman of color, running for vice president, when black women are considered to be one of the most marginalized group in society.
We will see if there is an enthusiasm gap when all the votes are counted. I have to take another quick break. Vice President Biden is going to speak, we're told, in just a few minutes. We'll be right back. Yeah, they just left the fucking car.